I don't know what's wrong with these people. And they play in our face, but this is the thing, right? We allow them to. We allow them to come up with excuses. We'll sit in the chat rooms and we'll agree. They want to put the narrative down the way they want it to be to convince you that yes, it's the victim's fault. It's the victim's fault. She shouldn't have been dressed that way. She shouldn't have come and sit on my lap. She she shouldn't have been walking down the street. She shouldn't have been in the classroom. She shouldn't have gone to the school. She shouldn't be alone. She shouldn't have been born. Mm. Oh, it's not always a she, by the way. It's he's too. How about this? Children, children, children. And some of y'all, like, there's some people, the ones who will agree, right, with these motherfuckers. Um, it's almost like you just it's almost like you like a person who say burn the world, which I've heard Beans in particular say that shit. That we gotta understand there are people who want debt to everybody, harm to everybody. And it's not necessarily that someone did them something. They just fucked up individuals. I'm about to play a couple of videos. Okay. I want to warn everybody listening. This shit gonna be triggering. Okay. But bear with it as long as you can. Because I realize that sometimes not talking about it is the problem. And I tell people that talking about it, not letting them talk about it is the problem, right? Keeping it secret. They're able to use that. Now they're using that against the victims. Keeping the secret is now deemed well, she must have liked it because why didn't she go and tell somebody? Why didn't they get the police involved? Why this? Why that? So she must have liked it, is what they've been saying for years now. They've been reaching back into childhood, talking about how shit felt so good to them. So I guess it must feel good to others. People walking around this country, this world, fucked up. And there's a whole nother group of people who saying, well, it's their fault that they're walking around fucked up. This shit almost had me in tears that I'm about to play. But I want y'all to listen. I want y'all to listen to the motherfucker perpetrator. I want y'all to listen. We got to understand what is happening in our world. We need to understand what they are saying and why they are saying it. And then there'll be those who want to come and say, but here, when it happened to him, okay, when it happened to him, so it happened to him, he know it destroyed him, so he goes to destroy others. Hmm. Yep. And that goes to the ones where I say they say fuck the world, right? They'll burn it down. But you know what I notice is that they always want to go to the youngest ones to harm them. They won't never try to harm somebody their age. They go to the weakest of us, to the children, and they'll go as young as they're able to get away with. And you need to understand that. We know these niggas will go as young as they are able to go. And that means, ladies and gentlemen, that is up to us to protect our children. Because if they get access to them, huh, then they're going to destroy them, destroy their innocence. This is not a game. People want to be on this bitch having conversations, the most distraught, disgusting fucking conversations over and over and over and over again. And we sit in their fucking face, include myself. It's almost like it's so distraught that we don't want to talk about that part. So as long as they're not talking about that part, then we can sit and listen to other shit, right? We can sit and listen to other shit. And then when they start bringing up that shit again, and be like, this shit is disgusting. It's so fucking vile that our brains overlook it. We kind of want to wipe that portion out. I was having a conversation with a few people a couple of nights ago, and I was thinking about what they were saying, and I started to understand more about what they are saying. My point is, hey, you have the discussions so everybody can hear it. But then I started realizing, wait a minute, but the more it's like even if we hear it, we don't hear it. It's almost like we willing to just say, okay, when they're not talking about that, we forget that they said these disgusting things. Yes, I forget that they've said those disgusting things because my mind can't wrap itself around that fucking bullshit. You see what I'm saying? It's almost like, and it's like I'm thinking, yeah, I don't like when people mention, hey, remember when he said this? And I'd be like, nah. And they'd be like, nah, Bomb, remember? And I'd be like, oh shit, yeah. Because I couldn't wrap my head around how disgusting. You know, I be thinking to myself like, yeah, but I'm like, what the fuck is you doing? Until, but I'm about to show you not where somebody just saying it, right? Because we be on here and we be like, well, look at that shit Daryl said. And I was like, well, yeah, this is YouTube. He just said some shit. And then I think to myself, but I say a lot of shit. I will never go that fucking far. My mind, my brain wouldn't even allow me to. So I didn't start thinking, well, how in the fuck was he able to take it that far? And I think that's what's happening. I think they talk about it so much to where it want to be normalized. They playing in our face to see will we accept it. And some of them are admitting, yeah, y'all be in my face anyway. So just admit it. Just admit it. You like it. You like it. Y'all like it. Well, why else? Why are you hitting? Why are you listening to me talk about this? You like it. You like it. And that comes directly from Rudell, baby. And that's what they're saying. If you dare listening to them, then you must like it. And then I think, but damn, I know goddamn well I don't like it. That's why I leave. That's why I'm not there. Right? Soon as that type of shit start coming out the mouth, I leave. My head starts hurting, all kinds of shit. And then I noticed that there's people there pushing back. They're saying, no, 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 no. And we're absolutely telling them, no, we don't like that shit. But in their brains, you being there means you like it. You would accept it. You good with it. These motherfuckers is fucked up in their motherfucking head. And then there's us. And then there's us. Anyway, let me get to this shit. This ain't no motherfucker body who just talked about it. See, only when they get caught do they talk about it. And then we got the fucking ones who, they've been caught. Now, you gotta understand the ones in everybody who name is in my goddamn title, they either been caught on some shit or they've been accused of some shit based on their own um the things they came out their own fucking mouth. You ain't got to go and Google them, look up their past or none of that. Just based on what came out of their own fucking mouths. Okay? What came out their own fucking mouths. I could have made the list a lot longer, but I ain't got that many characters to use in the title. What I'm about to show ain't got nothing to do with no people in this area. And by the way, let me just say this. There have been several motherfucking men in this area who've gotten caught messing with kids. When they get the fuck out, they come on and they start preaching how they liked it though. And the fucking thing is, like, for years, I've been announcing these men. I don't know some of their real names. I knew them, right? They get on fucking panels and they say the most atrocious things. Like one of them, he said that little girls as young as 5 years old start having sexual desires or some shit like that, right? It wasn't sexual. He didn't use the word sexual desire. I forget his exact words. But he was basically saying that because they have those feelings that young, then what's the problem? You can use them that way. And then we was over here pointing out this motherfucker. We was like, did y'all hear what this nigga said? This was years before he got doxxed and you found out that he took a young girl and tried to grape her. We was already warning people. They tell on themselves when they open their fucking mouths, when they get real comfortable, baby. Let's share this screen. This is not going to feel good. This is not a feel good stream, y'all. If y'all looking for the jokes to be cracked and all that, this is not that. This is not that. Okay. Um, this is not a time for anybody to be trying to hit a link so they can explain their motherfucking selves. Some of these niggas need to be in jail, but jail is where I think that, because I could think of a better place for them to go, but I can't really say it, you know. Um, but let me just say, it'll be somewhere where they can't come back unless it's in another life. Okay. Um, let's get to this shit right here. And if you think for one motherfucking minute that a nigga who may have done something to somebody else's child won't do it to their own, you got to be kidding and joking, fooling yourself. Our brains won't wrap around some of the shit people have done. But some of you, though, you can bypass that and take the chance with your own. And that tells me a lot about you. Because I can assure you, every time any one of my children walk outdoors, just the mere just going outside. When we love our children, we worry about where they going, who they going with, how long they gonna be there, what could happen to them. Some of you motherfuckers bring it right into your households. You bring the danger in your households. And here we go. Let's get to this shit right here, baby, because this right here is some shit. And this ain't the first time I done played videos like this. I'm quite sure I could pull up 100 of them. Oh, we could go to the Dr. Phil show, one that I shared a couple of years ago, when the father, right, the daughter who is now grown, was pretty much in the same situation. Here we go.
What is wrong with you? This case is horrible. This is a life case, honestly.
Is by penetrating with his finger. That did
Penetrating with his finger.
not happen.
Didn't do it to like hurt my daughter. I think it's she
I didn't mean to hurt my daughter.
I just don't know what she wants. Like
She just don't know what she wants.
she spreading her legs at
She's spreading her legs at me. And by the way, she's 6 years old. She's 6, babe. She just don't know what she wants. She's spreading her legs at me. A finger, that's not too much. It's triggering everybody, but we listen. If you could get through it, there is a rhyme to a reason. There's a reason why I'm doing this stream. Not just because I think you need to learn something, but I too, right? Because if we don't sit and listen to what these fuckers are saying, and we're gonna hear that this man is gonna be saying the same thing that we've heard Dimp say, Beanz say, JP say, we could go on and on and on and on and on with the fucking names. And then on top of that, we got women, right, who are agreeing with these men when it comes to when a woman says, this is what has happened to me. This is what happened to me when I was younger. This is what's happened to me when I was grown, and so forth and so on. I'm gonna rewind that little bit where we can hear what the fuck he said. And we're gonna listen to a little bit of this shit. And then I may go on to another one. Depending on my headache when I get through just this motherfucker here, because there's so many other cases, baby. It's a lot of them. The men with little girls, with babies, and with little boys. And I just need y'all to understand, just like they'll go for the little girls who, for the most part, at some point, people started watching their daughters, they forgot to be watching their sons. Here we go.
Case, honestly.
Is by penetrating with his finger. That did not happen.
Didn't do it to like hurt my daughter. I think it's she I just don't know what she wants. Like she spreading her legs at me. Like, what do you want me to do? And like she's spreading her whole and you're like,
buckle up, guys. Today
She putting a whole pussy on me. Oh my God. What you want me to do? That's what these men be saying. I'm a man. I can't control nothing about myself. What you want me to do? Look at her. She shouldn't have wore that dress. She shouldn't have been in that camper. She shouldn't have hit against me. She shouldn't have sit on my lap. She shouldn't have done it.
we are going to break down a hearing that becomes more disturbing with every passing minute.
Molesting her in such a way because you didn't want her to hurt.
at least 4 or 5 times.
Blaming us.
From that moment forward, everyone in the courtroom knows this won't be a routine proceeding.
At least 4 or 5 times.
Blaming a 6-year-old? Are you saying that you were molesting her, and as you were molesting her in such a way because you didn't want her to hurt her, grabbed her, and you're making it seem like your finger just accidentally penetrated things? So, State, you want to explain to me why the court should follow this 15 years? It's calling 2023 CR 0543, State of Texas versus Wilbert Villamil. State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
Your Honor, we are proceeding on count 3 and waiving counts 1 and 2.
Any objections?
No, Your Honor.
Do you understand you're charged with the offense of aggravated sexual assault of a child? That's a first-degree felony. The range of punishment is anywhere from 5 to 99 years in prison and life and up to $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
No.
Did your counsel advise you of the consequences of pleading no contest or guilty in the application of federal immigration law?
What was that again? Sorry.
I said, did your attorney advise you of the consequences of entering a plea in this cause number, either no contest or
Yes.
guilty, and how that applies to federal immigration law?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did that advice include possible consequences such as deportation, exclusion from the United States, or the denial of naturalization?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand the consequences of entering a plea in this case as it relates to your immigration status?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. According to the plea, you're pleading on count 3. Punishments to be assessed at 15 years in the prison. There are no applications. There's to be no contact with the complainants, and there's Chapter 62 compliance. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Here's my question, because I see that affirmative finding of family violence has been crossed through. Is this complainant his relative or not?
The prosecution explains that the agreement was designed to spare the young victim from having to relive the trauma in court. But the hearing quickly takes a shocking turn when the judge starts pressing for answers. Instead of accepting responsibility, the defendant begins offering explanations that only make the situation worse. Every answer creates another question. The judge isn't buying what she's hearing, and the tension in the courtroom rises with every exchange. This is the moment when the entire plea agreement begins to look unstable.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
To the offense is charged, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
Is there a reason I should accept this agreement? Why am I accepting this agreement?
Well, Your Honor, in this situation, what he has pled to is a single count of a single time of sexual assault of a child, which is aggravated sexual assault of a child. He has agreed to do this early on in his process. He is not contesting his guilt, and he is not contesting what's going on. He's agreed to go to prison, and 15 years is a substantial amount of time.
State, why should I accept this agreement?
Your Honor, the child is very young. She's in therapy right now. I discussed it with the mother, and this is there is a desire to get closure early on in this case, Your Honor.
So
At this point, we haven't had to re-traumatize the child by bringing her in and talking to her about this case yet.
This case is horrible. And I mean, I know he says he's pleading to a one-time penetration, but from reading this,
He didn't say that. I said it because
Okay.
I was just talking about the legal issues
Yeah.
with that. So,
but I mean, having a child having her brother lick his butt.
Oh my God. That's a whole nother person, having his brother lick his butt. Do this sound like some healthy mental state motherfuckers? They sound deviant. And they use children as their way of getting off. It wouldn't shock me if some of these men in this space doesn't have a child stashed away somewhere. Because y'all do know that children are coming up missing, and there is a shitload of men, not just white, by the way, who have children stashed away. They have purchased a child. They just found a whole sexual ring, a sexual ring. Is that what they call it? A sex ring. And they found it and found over 100 and something children of all racial backgrounds. And they had a shitload of men with these children, and they was of all backgrounds. And since we are Black people, then I just want you to know that there was Black men holding children for their sexual gratification. Here we go.
that was something that I think was determined that did not happen.
Well, she says that he asked her to lick his.
That's a different one. Yes.
What is wrong?
Oh, so one of them happened. It was found. Well, that couldn't have happened because we found that couldn't have happened. Ain't no way that could happen. They found that couldn't have been true. But then the little girl says, yeah, but it did happen. Oh, and he said, oh, that's a different situation. Yeah, he did that. So he didn't do it when it was the little boy, but he did it when it was the little girl. They was able to prove that the little girl wasn't lying because, physical proof. With the little boy, though, we couldn't tell if he was lying or not. Lord have mercy.
What's wrong with you?
Well, Your Honor, I'm not trying to beat around the bush. She was showing me her crotch. And
she was showing me her crotch. His daughter. So, listen, she been showing him her crotch since she was born. Every time he had to change her diaper, every time he possibly participated in helping bathe her, she was showing him her crotch. Oh no, little girls, you can't show nobody your crotch. You're doing too much. When you born, you gotta come out and you gotta know how to keep your crotch all to yourself. This is what Beanz sounds like to me. Well, they out here and they showing this and they dressing this way and they dancing that way and I'm telling you, these men and their mental states are very much like this man right here. They use the same terminology, they use the same excuses, everything. And for those of us who not like this, we don't think that way, but they're trying to convince you that you should. For the rest of you men who, when you hear these stories, you know that shit is fucked up, do not let these men talk you into thinking the way they think. Soon as you hear this shit, you know this shit's fucked up. I watch some of these men convince other men that, yeah, that's right. Why she do that? Yeah, she should know better. Yeah, why is she dressing that way? Why do she have on that pamper?
And that's
And you got turned on.
no, I didn't. I'm telling you, I'm not like physically like. Well, I did get turned on, but not. Well,
Oh no, I didn't. Look, they ready. Look, they know they gotta deny it, but then he can't deny it because of what he did, right? He can't deny it. But think about what these men are saying when they say she shouldn't have dressed that way. They're saying that they got turned on, and because they got turned on, it's her fault or the little boy's fault. And since it's their fault, so they gonna get whatever I give them. If I get the opportunity, I'm gonna give it to them. These motherfuckers is sick, and the people who support them, and we got to start paying attention. Like, listen, including myself, I gotta stop saying, but as long as this topic don't come up, then it's okay. As long as this topic don't come up. I've been thinking about this shit, sleeping for the last couple of days with that shit on my mind, like thinking, damn, like I see what they're saying. I see what they're saying. Hmm.
after a while, she just kept doing that. Tell her not. You know what I mean? Like,
So you blaming a 6-year-old?
I'm not blaming my 6-year-old.
My client was sexually abused when he was a child.
Oh, they like to mention that, huh? He was sexually abused as a child, but he's a grown fucking man doing the sexual abusing. He knew once his client said what the hell he said, he had to say something to try to get it off of him. But baby, it's square on him because he has now sexually abused a fucking child. If something happened to you that you know is wrong, then why would you do it to someone else? Now, there are cases where, because there are, in other countries, I don't know, right? I'm just gonna make this assumption, but I can see where if the culture, the whole culture is running a certain way and you raised a certain way, you don't even never learn that that's a bad thing. In fact, it's just what it is. You may not know that it's wrong because in your country, in your area, it's not wrong. But when you come to the US and quite a few of countries, you soon find out that, wait a minute, not only is this shit wrong, but it's a crime. And like, I don't like, what's the confusion then? What's the confusion? And when you learn that it's a crime, and it's a crime for a reason, by the way. It's not like just somebody decided to put an age on when you can do this, that, and the third. They have found that it's abuse, right? When it's an older person reaching all the way down to someone who have no say. Because if you thought it was okay, then why aren't you finding somebody your age? Or somebody who at least can change their own diaper. How about this? Somebody who don't even wear a fucking diaper. How about that? How about that?
How old is he now?
The defense tries to shift the conversation toward the defendant's own history, describing childhood abuse, psychological trauma, deportation concerns, and treatment opportunities. But the judge remains focused on the victim. Then the defendant attempts to explain his actions by insisting that he never intended to cause harm. That's where the argument completely falls apart. The court isn't interested in carefully packaged excuses. The judge wants accountability, and every attempt to soften the facts only deepens the court's frustration.
He's 35 years old now. But the trauma that he suffered as a child has definitely surfaced in a way that is abhorrent. It's in a way that is obviously it's not good. And that's why we are here. And he is willing to go to prison, be a lifetime registered sex offender, almost certainly be deported. He'll never live. He's been in this country since he was 2 years old. He will never live in this country again. Legally, and he will.
So he's being released after he does his time, released to go somewhere else and deal with his trauma that may result in him molesting some other child.
Well, he has what he is hoping to do is, as you know, the TDCJ system offers a pretty comprehensive.
Based on what his lawyer said, you got to lock him up forever. Right? Because he said he did this because he got traumas. And then we're like, okay, well, he got his traumas and he gonna always have his traumas. And so I guess what's the sense in letting him out in 15 years? Why are we giving him 15 years? Because his whole life, if he get out, he still got them traumas and he gonna start all over again. Some of you women are okay with having your children be around some of these men. You better wake your ass up. Because nothing wrong with if you have a little conversation with them online. I mean, we don't know who all done what online. But I think before you start introducing them to your real life, you might just want to figure out who they are, what they've done, and then even make some consideration on what the hell they done. Like, why even invite it into your life if you don't already have no shit like that going on into your life? Are you that motherfucker desperate? They ain't got no decent dude near you? And all it takes is to give them a little money, baby, and they will open up their lives, their children, and everything else. Yeah, here we go.
Sex offender counseling and treatment. And of course, you know, he will at some point be wanting.
But he's not going to get none of that. Where he going to get that from? He going to get deported. He'll do it in another country. It's crazy.
To go on parole. He knows that he's going to have to complete that to do that. We have talked about it, explained it. He's going to take the opportunity to do that, as well as other programs that are offered in TDCJ. He is motivated to do that. And
no, he's not motivated to do that. We heard him just now in court say that it was his daughter's fault. She opened her crotch as a 6-year-old.
You know, at some point when he is released, as I said, he's going to go to a country that he has basically never lived in his entire life.
What country would that be?
Mexico.
They have nice beaches there. So again, we go back to the point. What were you thinking?
Yeah, I can just say sorry, but like the only thing I can tell you is that I I try not to hurt her. You know what I mean? Like,
no, we don't know what the fuck you mean. He tried not to hurt her while destroying her life. Like, I think, see, ladies, we got to understand that these men really, and I'm talking about these men, these type of men, right? They don't think of us as nothing but sexual objects. That's it. This is his fucking daughter at 6 years old and younger. And we can assure you by the time he got caught at 6 years old, he probably was already penetrating her way before that. Okay? Uh, way before that, something had to happen for him to get caught. Like, y'all think he got caught in the actual act? No, these kids started being able to talk. But before they was able to talk, though, before they was able to talk and say and start inserting things out. And can you imagine? At first, they had to be questioned. They was told they were lying. These men online to say these kids are lying. And then when we say, well, how would a kid know anything about these positions and shit? Oh, the mama told him to lie. And so, wait a minute, I'm sorry, because a woman can talk to a child, but that doesn't mean the child comprehends what she's saying. But if a child starts acting certain ways, humping and shit, I can assure you, nobody said, yeah, go and tell him your daddy was humping on you. And then this child knows what that looks like. But these men, they say anything to not get caught. So they could continue on. And I hope when this man go to jail, I hope he get everything that he deserves. Everything that he did to them kids is exactly what needs to get done to him. Yes. And I think he's one of them. He's one of the ones who deserve it. That's the way it go, right? The strongest take over the weakest. When he go to jail, there gonna be somebody stronger than him, and they'll take over his weak ass. I don't feel sorry for it.
Wait, are you saying that you were molesting her, and as you were molesting her, you were molesting her in such a way because you didn't want her to hurt her?
No, I asked her, you can put this in your mouth. That's it. And she said no. I said, that's fine.
He asked her when she was 6, 5. I'm gonna show you another video where the father says the same thing. He blames her. He said she would put the porn on even though she was like 5 years old. Apparently, she would put the porn on. Or she was dancing a certain way in front of him, even though he would take her downstairs to the basement, where he knew the mother couldn't get down there because she was disabled. And then he would put porn on for her, and he was teaching her. And then he was telling her, this is what you do. And then he blamed her for doing it. The adult, the grown-ass man, the father, by the way.
Okay, that's it.
No, this is a penetration.
Your Honor, if what he has pled to is, and what he confessed to is by penetrating the anus with his finger.
Mm-hmm.
Look, he penetrated anus with his finger. Why y'all think he did the anus instead of, because why? Because, if they go to look on the little girl, I don't know why he think they just gonna look in one end, but he probably figured the mother probably wouldn't notice. And maybe she couldn't, I don't know. But they're trying to get away with some shit. If he thought it was okay, then why are you sneaking?
And he had told the police when they asked him that he told the police that he did that at the time, which is another thing. He was honest with the police. He told them what he did. And at this point, he
said he honest with the police. When he say he honest with the police, at what point was he honest with the police? Like at some point you deny it at first, and then eventually they put something in front of you saying we know you did it, and then you start saying I did it, and then the lawyer said, well, yeah, he was honest with the police. Don't mean he was always and from the jump honest with the police.
At this point, the judge starts digging into the details because she is trying to understand exactly what happened and why. Instead of confronting his actions directly, the defendant repeatedly minimizes his behavior and shifts responsibility elsewhere. The courtroom becomes noticeably more uncomfortable as the judge pushes back against every contradiction. Even the attorneys seem to realize that the hearing is slipping away from the original agreement. This is no longer a discussion about paperwork. It's a direct examination of character, judgment, and responsibility.
We're asking for this because we have agreed early on not to leave this on a docket, not to go through the process, not to have his daughter have to come in and, as the prosecutor said, be traumatized by this, have to come in and talk to prosecutors, have to get the phone call from the DA's office.
Look, he get less time because they don't want to traumatize the daughter or get. So they're using that. His daughter, listen, I don't know how many times this happened, okay? But if I can't even imagine my dad doing something like this to me and me having to live my life knowing that my dad, the one who's supposed to really support me and protect me, was the one harming me. That's how men have lost your place in this society. You no longer thought about as the protector, like back in the day, right? When y'all like to go back to the Greek times. Like to go back to the Greek times. Right? Wait a minute, I got something for you. Wait, I gotta stop the share. I got something for you. Wait a minute. I gotta restart the share. I gotta just do it a different way. I got something for y'all.
Is better than nothing.
That's all I'm saying. We need to start advocating for men who want to be with men. I understand.
No, this is not the one. This is not the one. Wait a minute. Where did I put it? Yeah. Doo-doo, 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 doo-doo. Is this it?
Is better than nothing.
No, this is the
That's all I'm
same.
saying. We need to.
I'll grab it. But let's get back to this. I'll grab it. When Kevin Samuels says, in Greek times, when they was with little boys, they didn't need women because they was with little boys. Here we go.
They want it done. They're going through a divorce. He's never going to have custody of these children. He's lost basically everything, including the country where he grew up, and he's going to lose his freedom for up to 15 years, and for a minimum of 7.5. But as the court knows, parole doesn't happen like that for these cases. They're doing 75-85% of their time, and so he's lost his freedom for more than a decade. He has done a horrible thing, and there's nothing that he can say right now that can explain that. I think the court's questions of him, how he has confessed to you and now that he has done it. And
No, he pled no contest.
He pled no contest because I advised it because there's a civil case going on, but that's a legal advice that he was getting from his lawyer.
So he won't even. So he ain't pleading guilty, and he plead no contest. So his daughter, who might sue his ass later, won't be able to get nothing from him. He's gonna be able to deny it.
Yeah, so I mean, I understand, but he pled no contest. So again, we're back to what were you thinking? Because I'm trying to figure out where you're coming from to figure out whether I should follow this plea or not.
Sorry, Your Honor, I didn't do it. I didn't do it to hurt my daughter. I tried. I'm begging and telling you, please. I'm telling you, please. I'm not trying to force my hand in her vagina or in her ass. I basically grabbed her and I put my finger where it shouldn't be. That's it. I can't. I don't know how to explain.
No, so the way you're explaining it to me, you're making it seem like it was an accident.
No, it wasn't
So was it an accident or not? Because you're telling me you just grabbed her and you're making it seem like your finger just accidentally penetrated the
The
anus.
thing is, I just don't know what she wants. Like, she's spreading her legs at me. Like, what do you want me to do? And like, she's spreading her whole vagina at me, like at least 4 or 5 times. Dropping her pants, to, like literally. Like, it's not like I'm telling you like my actions were right.
I know. I'm just trying to figure out where you are mentally. And yes.
So if I grab my daughter's butt and I throw her on the bed and I didn't like forcefully just sleep.
Uh-oh.
Your Honor,
He done told on himself. He grabbed his daughter and forced her on the bed. That's what he just said. He keeps telling on himself. When he slipped and said her vagina, but then he slipped and said her ass. He didn't even use buttocks or nothing. Just nasty. He told on himself. And these men be telling on themselves. All you gotta do is listen to them. All you gotta do is listen to them. When they get with these little girls who just starting to bud. Isn't that what Rujip just said the other day? If y'all didn't hear it, go back and listen to it. Right? When they start talking about, yeah, how they dressing, little girls shouldn't be dressed in a certain way. When they like them younger because they want to manipulate them, or the words they use is teach them the way they like to be. They want them to be virgins, right? Yeah, this is what these men say over and over and over and over again. And then there'll be some men who wouldn't have even thought about no shit like this, sitting and listening. And then before you know it, they'd be agreeing, like, yeah, what's wrong with me wanting a virgin? Oh, yeah, what's wrong with, if she's willing? Yeah. Like I offer to get her hair done, and then I could get her to come over, and then I can tell her, well, yeah, I got your hair done now. Can I get this? Yeah, they agree to that. And they think that's cool. They think that's cool. Wow.
the time he told police officers that he had put his finger inside of her anus,
So it wasn't accidental. Am I right in assuming that?
he did not tell the police officers it was accidental. I don't think that he's trying to communicate that to the court. We are asking the court to follow this plea bargain. It is obvious that the man has sexual deviancy,
Okay.
and it's obvious.
Okay. And listen, at least we know the lawyer is not one of them. Okay. He's just trying to do his job. I get that. He trying to do his job. And you too would want a lawyer gonna do their job for you. But this man has spoken too much, lawyer. You shouldn't have let him open his goddamn mouth to nothing. But you gotta plead. And once you start pleading, you get under oath, and then you start, if the judge start asking questions, you's in trouble.
All of those things that we have for people who are charged and people who are convicted of this, all of those things we're doing here. He's going to the penitentiary. He's going to be a registered sex offender for the rest of his life.
Now the focus returns to the plea agreement itself. The prosecution emphasizes the importance of protecting the child from years of additional court proceedings, but the judge has already made up her mind. She has listened to the evidence, heard the explanations, and watched the defendant's reactions closely. Then comes the turning point. Rather than approving the proposed sentence, she raises the number substantially. In a matter of seconds, the entire direction of the case changes.
All of those things are what's happening in this situation for people who have this apparent or this abhorrent behavior. He's obviously injured this child, and he understands that. He's signing for 15 years to go to prison because of what he's done.
All right. So this is a life case, honestly. So State, you want to explain to me why the court should follow this 15 years?
Your Honor, this was done, having been in this position, I have seen these cases that languish for 4, 5, 6 years. And I had discussion with the mother, and the benefit of the child was to get this done, have no right to appeal, so the child could move on. It's up to the court's discretion. I'm happy to reconfer with defense counsel as well on this.
All right. If you all want to reconfer, the court would be willing to accept a plea of 20 years, not 15. If you all want to reconfer on that, you can.
The final moments of the video explain why this hearing stands out from so many others. The judge wasn't willing to treat a case of this magnitude as a routine negotiation. Instead, she forced everyone in the courtroom to confront the facts directly and justify every decision being made. Her message was unmistakable. Some crimes demand more than a quick agreement.
I think he probably took it. Let's see. I don't know if they're going to say that he took it or not.
To like the video, subscribe.
Okay. But we know what the judge was about to go. She wasn't taking no less than 20 on it. Okay. Now, I do have a few more. I don't know if I have to play them to make a point, but sometimes I feel like that's the only way to make a point, especially to some of these men who may not understand what these sick motherfuckers are doing, right? When they get on and they want to always have a conversation about they old ass that's in their late 30s, early 40s, somewhere in their 40s, talking about being with kids. Did you know after a certain age, you shouldn't even be talking about children? Why are in the adult area here on YouTube the goddamn conversations of children is happening? Because what I do know is that most people are not talking about their children, right? They're not on here talking about, oh yeah, my son just graduated from kindergarten, and yeah, he's doing great in first grade or second grade or third grade. Some of us do that, and we do that in passing. Some of us actually do talk about our children, our grandchildren or whatever, in a good way. Talk about their education, what they're doing, and we congratulate each other and everything. But not these men in these spaces. Now, do they? They don't do that. They always want to talk about them in a sexual way. And they always and forever is talking about them in a sexual way. And by the way, some of these motherfucking women too. Some of these motherfucking women will start talking about how, because I've learned through time. I had no idea that women was talking in a sexual way. I don't know if they were or weren't. But when you tell somebody, oh, look, he's so handsome, or look, she's so pretty, right? But these men have convinced a lot of women that yes. When somebody says, oh, he's going to be a little heartbreaker, right? That's just giving the little boy a compliment. It's not even giving him the compliment, because that's a compliment that you're giving to the adult. You making the adult feel like, yeah, your little man is handsome. Right? But these men have since pushed on that no, women are sexual deviants too, because when you tell a little boy that he's handsome, he look handsome in his little suit, that she was sexualizing him. Now, I don't know how the word handsome ended up being in some sexual way, because I don't think I've ever seen where a man says, oh, she's pretty. You look pretty in your little dress. That we didn't assume he was talking about in a sexual way. Now, if he started talking about she looks sexy, or she starts saying he looks sexy, now, yeah, that's a different. And everybody, that word sounds creepy coming from anybody if you're referring to a child. And it's crazy. But we up here, we have discussions with sickos. I have no problem at one point having a conversation with the sickos until they start talking about the sick shit. And then I would be the one like, I don't want to talk about this. Hey, I don't want to talk about this. I don't want to talk about this. They always will push to talk about it. RougeC was one of those people. Always want to talk about sex, sexual shit. And with kids. With kids. Whether you want to push the narrative that women was having sex with boys, right? Or if he want to push the fact, and he would push the fact that women having sex with boys just so they could talk about how women do it too. So they can continue talking about how grown men want to have sex with fucking kids. Now listen, they don't like they keep pushing it, and they getting older and older pushing it. It'll be a whole different conversation if a 20-year old, a group of 19, 18, 19, 20, even up to 22-year-old men, right? Because those are men. If they was talking about, yeah, I still have connections with these teenagers, that would be a whole different conversation that could be had. It could be a whole different conversation. But these men are in their 30s and 40s, 50s and up. And it's crazy because even maybe let's say an 18-year-old or 17, we'll go to 17, even let's go even to a 16-year-old. 16-year-old high school girl, and she has a crush on this 21-year-old man. Right? That could be a conversation to be had. And it would have all kinds of nuances in it. She might say something like, yeah, I met this guy at work. I just got this job. And he's my manager. And he's 21. And she has a crush on him. Right? There's all kinds of nuances in having those in-depth conversations. Those will be in-depth conversations. And yeah, I think most people will kind of agree that it will be nuances to it. But explain to me how a 38, 39-year-old man, why is he still referencing dating 16-year-olds? Like, where is he at? Like, she's old enough to definitely be his daughter, and some cases, his goddamn granddaughter. Okay? So there's no nuances at all. That's a clear cut, like, what the fuck is that going on? What are you talking about? See, I told some of these men, Rudim in particular, right? Um, that one day he gonna realize just how he's aged. Because I remember when he was on here claiming that he was the young dude, which he was younger than these dudes. But even then, I had a whole conversation with him and told him he's not even a young dude. If I'm correct, when I was talking to Rudim, he was like 29 years old. And I told him that I'm like, but my sons are 18, 19 years old. I said, you're not the young man. I said, because my sons will think you the old man. Just like he think I'm the old woman. Now, it's something how these motherfuckers is about to be 40 real soon. And they still don't think that they've aged. And I told them one day it's going to be them. Oh, it's some of the women too. I remember when they were like 18, 19, 20. And now here they are 30. And so when they were young and they was okay when Kevin Samuel said, yeah, you hit the wall at 25, and some of them women was in agreement. I used to see the women be like in agreement. And I said, okay, just wait. Wait until you turn 26 and see if you agree. Wait until you turn 30 and see if you agree. And I just wonder, because that time has come, baby. That time has come for all the ones that I remember when you was 20 and now you're 30. I would like to know, have you aged? Well, Have you hit the wall? Because I'm seeing some of y'all, you seem to be really into yourself right now, which is a good thing. You now are blossoming. You have the confidence that you should have. You know how to take care of yourself more than ever. You have an understanding of health care, uh, skin care, health, right? Food, all that. You got more of an understanding now that you 30 years old plus and you rocking that shit. My question is, have you hit the wall 10 years ago? Because if you 35, you hit the wall 10 years ago. If you 30, you hit the wall 5 years ago, right? Yeah, if you 30, he said that you hit the wall at 25. So it true? Because usually when you hit into your 30s, that's your sweet spot. Your sweet spot. You done figured a lot of shit out in the world. How this shit run, how this shit work. You figured out who you are. Some of y'all, because some of y'all still stealing people's personalities, baby. You would be better if you would just be you, and then it would be authentic. You get people being you than to be other bitches, because baby, it ain't working for you, baby. Definitely ain't gonna work out long term. Especially when you get mad and you start talking about mental Jack. Mental Jack. Oh Lord. Sounding like a whole nigga. But we still on we the jury is still out on that. If you're not a nigga or wasn't a nigga at some point in time, baby. But I said I wasn't gonna crack no jokes doing this very serious topic. So Bomb gonna back up. And she gonna put the link out and see if anybody wanna come and explain it. How the experiences y'all had when y'all was kids, that you stand on them like they was great. You don't understand that what you was doing as a child was inappropriate. You don't understand that having sex with your cousin might be some shit that you realize was very inappropriate. That shit right there is sick shit. But we understand that because everybody involved was a child, we understand you didn't understand that. So why would you be promoting that as a grown adult? Now, I know some of y'all are stupid, and one of y'all not. I don't know. I don't one. I just think you're deviant, right? Because one isn't stupid at all. One, he's smart. But you could be a motherfucking sexual deviant and be very intelligent. You could be wealthy and be a sexual deviant, poor. You could be black, white, Asian, or whatever and be a sexual deviant. You're just fucking a deviant. And for those of you who would date sexual deviants, you might want to back up and check yourself before you get wrecked. Okay? Um, that's my little advice. Take it or don't take it. Take it or don't take it. I'm gonna put the link out and we're gonna see. We got one though. He's not really that smart, right? He's more he goes along with the conversations that been held here on YouTube. It's more like a Jalen, just maybe not even a step above Jalen, right? Um, he heard it, he hears it, he'll repeat it. Cause ain't no motherfucking way anybody would be uh bragging about having sex with their cousin as grown ass men and brag about it. There's a lot of things that could have happened that I don't think you would be bragging about if they had happened. Like example, if she had gotten pregnant. Like there are reasons why incest is against the law. Because they found that the children born of incest ends up having complications. It's almost like bragging that you were drinking while you was pregnant, like that young lady. And me calling her a young lady is me being real nice. I don't even know why people watch her and give her the clout that she got. I remember why you may have watched her in the beginning. I can even see when they was going through their dating bullshit. But once she ruined the whole life of an individual, called her own son by actively drinking while pregnant, and we all can see how that worked out for that young baby, that precious young baby that had no choices while its mother was actively forming it in utero, right? Um, she should be in jail. She should be in jail. Let me put the link in and then I may go to another video. I'm only talking because I don't want to bring up the other video, but let me see if I can find it really quickly. There you go. I just want y'all to know this one. Y'all need to support the channel. $, bomb cherry juice berry cash app. Okay. Because what I definitely know playing this video that I'm about to play, I know this stream will not be up. Okay. This stream will definitely not be up because this is a Dr. Phil stream. I have played it before and we will play some of it again. Hold up. Give me a second. I'm trying to get through how I can. Okay, we're gonna get to it. Support the channel, y'all. Support the channel. Here we go. Let's share. I will be putting the link up, but I don't want to play videos while people up here. Some people will come up and change my whole topic. Let's get to it. Fair use. Okay. Yeah, just fair use. Okay, I ain't got time for all that other shit that I usually be doing. Here we go.
You still victimizing this woman by telling her this was her fault, this was her responsibility, this was her ownership, that she was responsible, she initiated it, she came up with the games, she enjoyed it, she wanted this. Why are you still putting a guilt trip on her?
Because the time before last on the phone, she played no part in it. She like she wasn't there, and I'm not playing the guilt trip. I just want her to admit to herself that there was two of us.
She was 5, I think. We're gonna hear it. He want her to admit, even still today. Now he did 20-something years in jail for what he did to his daughter. He wants her to admit that it was two of us. Just the two of us. Yeah, that's what he want her. Okay? He want her to admit it was the two of them. Now, I'm showing you a picture of them, right? Y'all see what they look like, and we're gonna do it a different way. Let's see if I can get through this. Okay. Oh, wait, I got to do it again. Hold up. Wait, let me cancel that. How do I cancel that? Give me a second. Because I didn't share this sound, okay? Okay, it says I don't have to. Okay, cool. Y'all got it? Okay, we're gonna try to keep this going. Okay. Here we go. Fair use.
There were two of you, a perpetrator and a victim.
That's right.
That's the two of you.
Yes.
There were two of you. She was the victim. You were the perpetrator. Bob, come on. A 7-year-old child does not have the mental and emotional capacity to navigate the terrain.
So she was 7. Not when it started, but I think that's how old she was when he got caught. Okay.
Of sexual interactions.
She was 12.
12, 13, 14, 15. They do not have.
Now he put her at 12. Okay. But you're going to hear when he going to mention she was in a diaper. Okay. So that means he was messing with her all the way since she was like an infant, all the way up until he got caught.
Have the mental capacity, the emotional capacity, the maturity to navigate that terrain. When you have a child that you're putting your hands on in a sexual way for sexual gratification, that is a crime. That is not something, you say there were two of us there. She was a willing participant. No, she was a manipulated victim, not a willing participant. You are attributing to her a capacity that she does not have as a child. And if you don't get that, you'll never get past this. You want her to admit that so she can forgive herself and you, correct?
Just to herself, that's all.
If you admit that to yourself, you are lying to yourself. You are 100%. He has 100% accountability for victimizing you as his daughter. His job as a father was to protect you, not prey upon you.
Exactly. To protect her, not prey.
If you came to his room at night stark naked and he's laying there and you stood up on his bed and said, "Please touch me," it's his job to get up, wrap you up in a sheet, take you back to your room, put you in bed and say, "That is not appropriate. Don't you ever do that again." That is his job. It is his job to.
Yes. Now, there's a part. There's a part, and I'm trying to see if I should let y'all see it, but we'll listen to it first, and we'll see what he has to say, because there's some things he gonna say that.
Tile Survive has to be one of the most relaxing and comforting games of 2026. There's no pressure, and it's super easy to play. You don't need to stay online.
Like a chore. We watched a porn video together, and then he asked me to. My father started molesting me when I was 7.
Okay, here we go.
Their sexual relationship. Take a look.
My father's a monster. He's a pedophile and he's a danger to children. My father started molesting me when I was 7 years old. He started grooming me. The sexual abuse usually happened in the basement. It became like a chore. We watched a porn video together, and then he asked me to do a strip dance for him. My father had me start to engage in sexual behavior with him.
It began by him saying, "Come down to the basement."
We went down to put wood in the stove, and he started a conversation. Do you have any questions about puberty? You're going to be a woman soon. He started teaching me how to perform sexual acts.
This involved getting undressed, getting naked, touching, striptease type dancing. You watched porno with him.
He says, you can't tell people because if you tell anyone, I'll go to jail. The abuse I endured by my father was a secret, and I felt I had no choice but to keep quiet about it. He would have a signal. He'd say, I have to go put wood in the stove, which was a tip off to me to go down to the basement with him. My father showed me scary movies. Once I was in bed with him, he'd like me to perform sexual activities with him. It was an awful nightmare. There was no one around to help me. I was trapped there.
He says you seduced him.
That's ridiculous. It seems like no matter what I did, I wasn't doing the right thing.
Kim thinks that she didn't have a part in what happened between us at all. Our sexual relationship was consensual.
This nigga said his sexual relationship with his daughter was consensual when she was 7 years old. Let me come up. My goodness, y'all. I don't even know what to say about no shit like
what happened between us at all. Our sexual relationship.
I don't understand it. Yes, y'all. It's crazy, y'all. It's so crazy. What's going on, Angelica? What's going on, Renee? CPS has talked to what her name is. I don't know how to pronounce her name. Plenty of times, and she is not on the run from them. No, she's not on the run from them. They're not trying to take them kids from her, but they should. I mean, not them kids, that her son. And we all know that. We know damn well that baby is in danger. Well, how about I say this? She didn't already destroyed that baby's opportunities. She did that, and we all watched her. And if you didn't watch her do it, you could go and watch her do it, right? Because she did it on tape. She did it on film, right? She recorded herself or did it live, in other words, which is a recording, right? We could go see her drinking alcohol, pissy drunk while pregnant. And then we all see the outcome of that. The outcome of that. The outcome of exactly what she was doing with that while she was pregnant. So she couldn't take off 9 months not to drink. She was actively saying she was pregnant. So that means she knew she was pregnant. And on the back of the bottle of alcohol, it absolutely has an active warning. This alcohol could create issues in pregnant women. So yeah, she knew exactly what she was doing. And yeah, she should be in jail for that. She should be in fucking jail for that shit right there. Okay? And it's almost, yeah. How y'all doing? Y'all doing okay? Oh, you mentioned something about it on the run. Oh, I got you. I ain't read it all, y'all. But I know her ass need to be in fucking jail. Okay? Now, y'all was able to hear what this man said. This man had his daughter. See, so the mother, she had a mother there. It was her dad, and her mother, right? Remember that family, those quote unquote perfect families, as long as you have a mother and a father, right? I don't know why people think that. Just because a dad and a mom is in the household together does not mean things are great. And it doesn't mean that the family is a, you know what I'm saying? Because it depends on the people who are the adults. Okay? Her mother was there and she was disabled. And so she was disabled, therefore, she couldn't walk down them steps. She rarely ever went down in that basement. Okay? She still was walking around doing certain things, but she was disabled, which I understand because, going up and down my steps is getting really hard, right? I have back problems. Okay? They want to do some surgery and shit, but I don't know about all that. I'm gonna just get the injections possibly again. But so I mean, so he would take the daughter down with him in the basement. And in the basement, it wasn't like a dark basement, where Freddy Krueger gonna be and all that shit gonna be. It was a basement where they went and put wood in to warm the house up. And she's, daddy's little girl. I guess that's what I would assume. My daughter is daddy's little girl. And so in my daughter's Yeah, I'm watching how they interact with each other up here and everything seems fine. You know what I mean? I don't see nothing that's weirding me out or anything. And then Dad says, "Hey, we got to put wood in the fire," you know. And then that's when she says that was her cue to go downstairs. And I'm gonna be honest. Can I be honest? Like, I guess, and I don't know if it's because what happened to me. I don't think so much what happened to me. I think because I recognize the world in which we live in, and you can't trust nobody, y'all. Listen, the idea that we could put anything against by anybody is crazy. A person can have never done it before and decide to do it. So even with my children, like I'm gonna be honest, like I watched. There was gonna be a time, where unless I'm just not there, and then I spoke to my kids at the same time. I'm like, hey, nobody's supposed to be touching you, not even me, nobody. You know what I mean? Nobody, not your parents, not your grandparents, not your friends, not this, not that, not this. So I informed them, and then I kept an eye out. I kept an eye out, and therefore, I can only do so much. I can't be there the whole time. I had to put the information in my children. So with the mother, I guess she probably thought she married to a man who could never do such a thing, and then he destroyed their fucking life. And then apparently this motherfucker is mentally ill because he did his time in jail and now he's out and he's trying to convince his daughter that she had something to do with it too, which is ridiculous. Why is he trying to convince her of that? You got to understand, we had a relationship. What? He trying to push the blame on her. Okay. So let's get back to that. And then we're going to, because they got more, baby. Listen, there's many, many more. I know we say that these are the sick ones, and I'm saying that there's a lot of sick ones then. It's a lot of sick ones. Okay, let's listen to a little bit more of this. Here we go.
The ideas came from Kim. She was the one that did the stripteases.
Look, he's saying the idea came from her at 7, by the way. Oh, and they is showing like a little video clips of him when he was younger. When she was younger, but I'm not gonna share it. I'll put the link in if y'all want to go see that though. Okay.
Our sexual relationship was consensual. Most of the ideas came from Kim. She was the one that did the stripteases. She was the one that was always taking her clothes off in front of me. I did not ask her to do those things. So how is that 100% my fault?
For the first time in 3 years, Kim will face her father.
Brunch tomorrow?
Yeah. You heard him? He wanted everybody to know that was not 100% his fault, even though he was the adult, he was the father. Like, just being the father, even, listen, if one of my sons came in here on some sexual tip, which I can't even fucking imagine, I'll be like, I would beat his ass. Yes. Like, what? You know what I mean? Like, what the hell? Look, if the kids are doing some other shit that's wrong, right? If they playing with fire, if they in there smoking crack or weed or whatever, and you know they shouldn't be doing that shit, you would stop them from doing it. How is it if they come in and try to do some sexual shit that you know is wrong? Why you ain't stop them from doing it? Why you participate? Right? So these goddamn bullshit that these men be saying don't make no sense. But here we go. Let's get back to it.
You said, how is this 100% my fault when half of what we did was her idea?
She had a great imagination. Half the stuff we did was her idea.
Are you denying now that you put your hands on your daughter in a sexual way?
No.
So you do admit that?
Oh, yeah.
On multiple occasions?
Mm-hmm.
And that you had her put her hands on you in a sexual way?
Probably, yeah. I mean...
If you're the adult responsible for it, then how are you saying Kim started everything?
It wasn't against her will. She had a choice.
Do you know that a child is...
He said she had a choice. That's what these men say on here, don't they? She had a choice. She could have said no. She could have said stop. She could have went and called the police afterwards. She could have did something. And she was a kid and he was her father. She was a kid and he was her uncle. She was a kid and he, oh my God. He was the person in charge. He was the adult. She shouldn't have even had no choice to be saying no. It shouldn't have been even a choice at all to be made. Here we go.
does not have the capacity to give consent?
I know that.
So how can you say it's consensual?
Because it wasn't forced on her.
Little girl.
It was, and that's what these men say too, right? It wasn't forced. I didn't grape her. She had a choice. She opened her legs, and the only way is if I graped her, and I didn't grape her because she didn't say no. She didn't say stop. She didn't fight me. They say that all the time. That's the one they really like to. She control the sex. Well, how she control the sex if you could take it from her? How she controls the sex if you able to just grab her by her butt and do things to her that she don't even ask you for? How does she control that? But that's what they say out in these YouTube streets, baby. And it's not just said in the YouTube streets no more. It them creep this way out off of YouTube into the real motherfucker streets. It's out in the real streets. Here we go.
Girls don't think about strip teasing.
I didn't teach you striptease. You showed me. You were doing it in front of me.
You showed me porn videos.
One.
He admitting he showed the porn videos. He was blaming her for what she was doing. And she was like, you the one with the imagination. And she said, you were showing me porn videos. You were showing me videos of the women doing this. As my father, that's what you were showing me. And then you would tell me to get up and do it. And when I do it, and then he admits he showed her one porn video.
What are you doing showing your daughter a porn video?
It wasn't a big deal.
Anytime a father is showing their minor daughter a pornographic video, that's a big deal. Why are you still victimizing this woman by telling her this was her fault, this was her responsibility, this was her ownership, that she was responsible, she initiated it, she came up with the games, she enjoyed it, she wanted this? Why are you still putting a guilt trip on her?
Because of the time before last on the phone, she played no part in it. She like she wasn't there.
Oh, Lord. Anyway, let's see what else. Oh.
Worried about what ingredients are hiding in your groceries? Let us.
Yeah, I don't, y'all, these are the men. So I don't think we need to hear any more of that one. Let's go to this one. And we're going to share the screen again. We don't have to just keep it. Let me get rid of this here. Get rid of that. Because I definitely want to see her face. You know, her face. When she put down these sentences and shit.
Court is calling 2022 CR 7283, State of Texas versus Christopher Brent Davis. I have parties announced for the record for the state. For the defense.
For Mr. Davis.
Suzanne Kramer, also for Mr. Davis.
She looked directly at the man who destroyed her childhood and spoke with a calm voice that chilled the entire courtroom. She didn't scream. She didn't cry. Instead, she listed every scar he left behind. PTSD, nightmares, suicide attempts, and years of fear. Moments later, Judge Stephanie Boyd faced a decision that would change Christopher Brent Davis's life forever. The prosecution wanted life. The defense begged for mercy. What happened next stunned everyone in the courtroom.
All right. Mr. Davis, you entered a plea on May 7th of no contest. The court found there was sufficient evidence to find you guilty. The court deferred finding of guilt. You're coming open to the court. Have both parties had a chance to review the report from probation?
Yes, Judge.
Yes, Judge.
Any objections, State?
No, Your Honor.
Defense?
There were a couple of corrections, Judge.
Yes.
Regarding his discharge from the Navy, it was stated in there that it was less than honorable. I think his actual discharge was a general under, what's it called? Under honorable.
Okay.
General under honorable, not less than.
Okay.
And at the very end where he states a few things he wanted you to know, he refers to something that happened to him at age 5, but a subsequent conversation with his mother that was determined to have happened when he was at age 2.
Okay. All right. Any witnesses?
Not from the state, Your Honor. We just have an argument.
Just Mr. Davis, Judge.
All right. Could you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do have a couple other witnesses. Can we take them first, Judge?
Sure.
Thank you. I'm sorry.
Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. You can lower your hand. State your name for the record.
Christopher Brent Davis.
All right. Defense?
All right, Christopher, what is it that, other than what you already stated in the PSI, what is it that you would like the judge to know before she decides what your sentence ought to be?
Your Honor, there is no explanation. There's no rhyme or reason. Nothing would be able to be justified as far as what my actions did. There's every day that I live with regret because it's not only one person I hurt several people, including my own children, my own biological children. The only thing I can ask is for forgiveness from them, and I will accept whatever consequence that you've seen that is punishable, Your Honor.
All right.
And Judge, this is the part where I tell my wife, if I tell you something from here on out and that you can accept it 2 ways, one to make you mad and one to make you not mad, I mean the one that makes you not mad. Okay. So, question that we have is what's appropriate punishment for this type of case for Mr.
All right.
Davis?
I'm sorry. Just 1 second. State, you don't have any questions, do you? All right.
All right.
All right. Thank you for giving your testimony. And so the range of punishment for this offense is 5 to 99 years or life.
That's correct, Judge.
So, State, what are you requesting?
Do you want my request and my argument or just my request? Right?
Your request.
You're asking for life, Your Honor.
All right. So they're asking for life. Defense, what are you going to be asking for?
Judge, we're asking for 20.
All right. So now, State, I understand why you're asking for life. Defense, I understand why you're asking for 20. So,
At that moment, it became clear this hearing wasn't following either side's expectations. Judge Boyd explained that every case must be judged on its own facts, not by comparing sentences from unrelated cases. She acknowledged the defendant's traumatic past, but reminded everyone that childhood trauma does not erase adult responsibility. As she reviewed the evidence, one question remained above everything else. How could the public be protected from someone who had abused the trust of his own family?
One, I'm not going to sentence him to life. I've taken in consideration his testimony. I've taken in consideration the testimony from both his parents. And I want the parents to know, at some point in time in life, your actions are not the cause of your child's actions. Because how old are you?
38.
All right. So he's 38. At some point in our lives, when we're making our decisions, no matter what happened in our past that was horrible for us, or maybe our parents made a mistake in how they raised us, at some point your actions are your own. All right. So I'm not going to sentence you to life, but I'm not sentencing him to 20. It's an egregious offense.
And if I may offer some perspective on that, Judge, that's what
Yes.
I intend to do. So we agree it's egregious offense. He agrees it's an egregious
offense.
Well, Judge, and I would offer you something on that.
See if she's going
Argument. I don't get mad. And what I can tell everybody, when you're in jury trial, if this were a jury trial, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have
He shut up. You see how this lawyer, I don't know if this is the same lawyer, this look like a different one. He knew to keep this man mouth shut. But apparently there was another one. I'm going to find it because his daughter spoke on it. I don't know why they mentioned it, because they mentioned it here and then they skipped over what the daughter had to say. Okay. So, and then there's a lot of women, y'all, let's go read some of these. Okay. Let's read this one. I was molested by my stepfather from 5 years old to 15 years old. This was back in the 70s. My mom made a conscious decision not to prosecute. My family rallied around me and helped me heal. I really hope she continues to heal. Send him to prison for life. He's given her a life sentence. That's just what this person says. Let's see if we can, because you're going to find, you're going to see where women and some men, right? Where they will get in and they would explain what happened to them. Somebody says, so he was molested as a child, so he thought it would be a good idea to ruin his daughter's life? Same thing I said earlier. Okay? The only regret is that they were caught. That is their only regret, because if they regretted it, they wouldn't have done it. Okay? Somebody said what I said. I hope he receives many warm welcomes in prison. Okay, there's another one. There is a motherfucker another one, right? That I heard, and it damn near made me cry. Where is it? It should be. I think I saw it on the side. Or did I not? Okay. Let me touch on it here. 4-year-old. Okay, it should be my history now. Let's go listen to it, y'all.
A 4-year-old who couldn't even swim, who the only reason he was alone with her was because she had a broken floaty. She couldn't even properly wipe her own bottom. And as the court is aware, she says Zachary spit on his genitals and rubbed them against hers. How does a 4-year-old even know about something like that?
2019 CR 8670, State of Texas.
Y'all heard that, huh? 4 years old. And this is her uncle. Her uncle.
Versus Zachary Warren. Could I have parties announced for the record, please, for the state?
Michelle Hayden for the state.
For the defense?
Robert Mauer for defendant, Your Honor.
All right, are you Zachary Warren?
I am, Your Honor.
All right, you entered a plea in this case. I think someone else did the plea. So you entered a plea on April 19th to the offense of indecency with a child by contact. According to the plea bargaining agreement, punishments be assessed at a cap of 12 years. The state is opposed to your applications. Have both parties had a chance to review the PSI report, state?
We have, Your Honor.
Defense?
We have, Your Honor.
Any objections, state?
No, Your Honor.
Defense?
No.
State, do you have any witnesses?
We have one brief witness. Marina is getting her.
All right. All right, could you raise your right hand for me, please? You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, if you could lower your hand, state your name and spell it for the record, please.
Charissa Borles, CHARISSA.
Excuse me, no children in the courtroom. Are those your witnesses?
No, Your Honor.
All right, who's bringing babies to the courtroom? There's something called COVID, and this courthouse is germy. No matter how we try to clean it, toddlers and infants most likely should not be brought to the courthouse. Sorry about that.
It's okay.
All right, state, you may proceed.
Wait, can she?
Okay, spell first name again. Charissa, CHARISSA. Borles, BORLACE.
All right, state.
Good morning, Charissa.
Good morning.
You understand that we're here for sentencing today.
Yes.
Can you tell the court who Allison Borles is to you?
She is my stepdaughter.
And who was Zachary Warren to you?
He's my brother-in-law.
And prior to the incident in June 2017 and the outcry in January 2018, Were Allison and Zachary close?
Yes.
Can you describe their relationship?
They got along great. I mean, she loved her uncle so much.
And did you trust Zachary? And how did you find out Zachary had molested Allison?
She came to me and just started talking about it. She was scared to talk about it. It was the first of the year of 2018. Sorry, I'm a little troubled. And she just told me everything that happened.
And how was Allison when she told you this?
She was scared. She was worried that she would be in trouble. She didn't really understand that she didn't do anything wrong.
And how old was she at the time?
Whenever it happened, she was 4.
And
4 years old. Let me grab the link in case anybody want to come up. Let me see. Invite. Copy the link. We'll come to y'all. I hope y'all having a good Sunday, good weekend. I'm sorry to bring this to y'all. It just sometimes things come, come in to my mind, right? Based on some conversations I had. I had a great conversation with 2 women this past weekend, just in the last few days. And, they made me think, and even though like I was standing on what I was standing on, they were standing on what they stand on during the conversation, it was a real, like I when the conversation ended and I woke up, I started to think about it. You know what I mean? I started thinking because I understood what they were saying, right? And I know they understood what I was saying, but I had to go and say, well, Bomb, like, what are they saying? Like I know what I'm saying. I'm saying, hey, we have these conversations and this, and I realize, and people have told me that I've done this in the past where they'll tell me, hey, did you hear when he said that? Bomb, you forgot when so and so said this? And I'll be like, I really have forgotten, right? I really have forgotten. And then I just start thinking, well, damn, Bomb, like why are you forgetting? Because these things are serious. How is it that I can remember, that when they crack a joke about something, or I can remember when people came over to the channel, I can remember all this, but I be forgetting when these niggas say the most atrocious shit. You know what I'm saying? And so I thought about that shit for 2 days. I'm thinking, damn, like, because it took, when they said, Bomb, you forgot when he said this? And usually, yes, I be done forgot. And then I had to think, like, why did I forget that? Sometimes, like I really truly have forgotten it to where you can't even remind me again until I might go and look back at a stream and be like, damn, this motherfucker did say this. And then I started thinking, well, he said it. I remember giving pushback on it, right? Where I was disagreeing. But then why did I act like they didn't, that they said this? Why was I okay with it after? And yeah, I've been thinking about that for a while. For the last couple of days, I've been thinking, why is it okay for somebody to say some shit like, yeah, I had sex when I was young, and they say it with such, they're not even thinking about the people listening to them. Now, see, that's us problem, right? Because people gonna be themselves, right? Like, if I cuss and you don't like that I cuss, I don't know what to tell you. I'm gonna just tell you that, yeah, I cuss. Okay. But that doesn't mean, that I'm not, to me, they're just words, right? They're just words. And I'm using them for whatever reason I'm using them for, is why I'm using them. But at the same time, I'm not over here pushing sex with kids. I'm not pushing grown ass adults being with younger people. I'm not pushing none of that. And why would I push it if I'm not even actively in it? It's almost like we'll have people who say, well, I'm already married, but then they'll be pushing for some shit. And then people want me to do that. They want me to get up here and push women in a certain direction or push men in a certain direction. And if I would then start pushing people in directions, I definitely would not be pushing them into none of this shit. I would not be pushing a young teenage girl into an old man's arms. In fact, why would I do some shit like that? If we talk, if they like to go back all the way to the 40s, 50s, 30s, 1800s, right? Where younger women got with older men. But back then, they got with a man for business reasons. And guess what? Black men out here today, you ain't got no property. You ain't got no land. You ain't got no donkeys, no horses. You ain't got no chickens. You ain't got no pigs. You ain't got nothing that provides beef nor pork. You ain't got that. And so in 2026, why would a young woman go with you? And why would I push it? Because if we go back into the 1800s, early 1900s, if I had a daughter and I noticed that the Mr. Thompson down the street who owns, a few acres of things, he got a farm that's prosperous, he got money, and I see that he's sweet on my daughter. He's sweet on my daughter. He don't have no abusive tendencies that we know of, right? Because he could be keeping those hidden. But I didn't want my daughter to have a better life, right? So I realized he's sweet on my daughter. Then yes, I may say, hey, he's sweet on you. You have the opportunity. Live a great life. But in 2026, when niggas got nothing but criminal records, you might have a car sitting on 18s, right? And you got some loud ass bass in your car, and your ass is 40, ain't no motherfucking way. We gonna have to say no's to that. I'm gonna be like, look, girl, you was to marry for love and y'all build together. Then you going chasing after some nigga who already got a criminal record. Look, they want us to be virgins. What's wrong with us saying we want them to have a clean criminal record? How about that? They want us to be virgins. We want them to have no criminal record. We want them to have jobs, not just jobs, careers. Okay, career. You got to have a motherfucker career. And so ladies, we're gonna have to be very bold. And see, I've never been the type. I was not against a Cynthia G. I'm not against the women like her, right? I've never been against. At the same time, I've never promoted that neither, right? So I wasn't promoting what Sinji was saying, and I wasn't disagreeing with Sinji saying. I'm just figured, okay, the women gonna do what they want to do, go where they want to go. I don't see a problem with what Sinji is saying. I don't see a problem with it. That's how I used to think, right? You never see me over here dragging her, talking about her in a negative way or nothing. And only way her name comes up is somebody asks me, they'll accuse me, you be over there with Sinji. And I'm like, but you can't prove that. Like, 'cause they can't prove it because it's not true. Right? But the few times that I've seen Sinji talk over there, I wasn't against anything she was saying. And now, though, I'm at this certain point where these men have been dragging and this shit has gotten offline. These men are acting up in real time, for real, like that. And I'm more along the lines of, yes, ladies, the fuck. Hey, Cassandra, how you doing? So Provider, how you doing? Okay, let me pin this real quick. And so, ladies, I guess first of all, I don't know why these men keep playing with us. Apparently they don't know who women are, Black women in particular. Okay, we gonna win because you need us more than we need you. And that's why they want these rules. They want us to become uneducated, right? Instead of them becoming more educated, they want us to become not educated. Instead of them wanting upward mobility in order to gain their upper hand that they want and feel that they need, they want us to take steps down. They want us to go back into history where women had no rights, where we couldn't even control our own bodies. We couldn't make our own decisions, ladies. And that's what Black men want from us. When all they have to do is go get some education and make money and become the household, they'll be able to have a woman who will be a stay-at-home with their children. They'll be able to have that if they go and strive for that. Okay? They got to strive for that, but they're not going to strive for it, then they want us to take step backwards. And ladies, we're not doing that. Why in the hell would we do such a thing? Why would we do such a thing? We would not do such a thing. I don't recommend such a thing. But let's get back. I did put the link up. Anybody will come up, and let's get back to this video, because I got another one even after this one. This lady right here is the aunt to the young girl. Now, what we gonna notice, because this one is a long one, I'm gonna skim through. It's not that long. I think we got a little time. I might make it go a little faster. This is the aunt who the little girl told. No, I don't think is she the stepmom? Was she a stepmom or the aunt? I think she was the stepmom. Okay, I'm not sure. But anyway, the young 4-year-old, the 4-year-old, what happened to her was significant enough for her to remember it. Because, I'm not sure why these men don't understand, but we don't see these 4-year-olds. My grandson, and I notice it now that I'm older than I did when I was younger. When I was the actual mother, I was so busy, y'all. Plus, I was still young, right? I was still young, which means I still was trying to figure out who I am, let alone taking care of some babies, right? So, but now that I'm older, I see more, right? I pay attention more. I'm able, because I'm not as stressed as I was when I was a mother. So I think that's why when we become grandparents, we're a little more calmer, a little more understanding, a lot of things, because we done lived through life, we done gone, we saw, we conquered, maybe not, but we did on more relaxed, and we ain't got to have the children 24/7. We could just take them on a weekend. Okay. And so but what I'm saying, I don't understand men, because all you got to do is see all these cases that are going up, all these men that are going to jail, where JP will say all of them not guilty. And yes, they are pleading guilty. Not only are they pleading guilty, I'm not sure if he ever seen these cases. These men, these judges are making them explain what it is that they've done. So you might be in jail with these niggas where they can claim they didn't do it, but there's a whole court case that lays out fucking details of what these men have done. And a lot of them have pled guilty to it. So when they be like, well, just because they're in jail don't mean they did it. Just because they're in jail don't mean they did it. Sexual assault is one of the hardest things to prove, by the way. It's very hard to prove. Unless there's some actual fucking evidence. Just because I decide to lie on somebody don't mean nothing. They'll open a case, and a lot of men who got accused, and they have done it, but they didn't go to jail because it's hard to prove without actual evidence. And the one that's really hard to prove is if I invite him to my house and then he attacks me. These men make it seem like all I got to do is lie. That is not true. I got to prove what happened. And then he gonna testify or open his mouth. And when he starts talking based on what he says, he may hang his own self. But these men are lie. And they'll say, all she has to do is lie. He get convicted. Nah. But if you stupid though, and all she got to do is lie and you plead guilty, then I don't know what to tell you if you plead guilty, babe. I don't know what to tell you. Unless you about to be dead or some shit like that, because they can make it to where, you ain't got no choices and shit like that. We know that happened. But other than that, when you talking about, well, I don't want to be in here. So you don't want to be in here. Shit. Anyway, here we go.
How was it for you and your family, your husband, finding out something like this had happened?
It was a very scary situation. I mean, it's all family together, and that's your daughter that's in here having to keep telling you what had happened. It breaks your heart.
How has this affected your family?
Definitely made it difficult. I mean,
okay, I'm gonna skip through her, but basically her thing is, they got a family, and the uncle who was her favorite uncle used that ability to touch her. Now, I don't even be believing that when they got caught, it's the first time. Okay, because I mean, what made them so, ready to do it then? When they possibly had opportunities before that, and they may have done some shit even before that. But it don't matter because they can only go based on what they can prove. So that's why in court they wouldn't be bringing up anything other than what they can prove and maybe what they plead guilty to, right? So, but she's gonna explain basically how it affected the family. So we're gonna go to another person they brought forward, who is, I think, the grandmother, and she's the grandmother. So she's the grandmother to the child, and she's the mother to the person who did it. And this is where, oh Lord, this is where things get really scary with me, right? And what I mean by that is I have sons, right? And oh my God, if I couldn't imagine one of my sons doing some shit like this. And I'm gonna be honest, like in my mind, I think I would have to, I would kill somebody. And if somebody was touching Leak, and I would kill them, right? In my mind, I'm talking about in my mind, okay? In my mind, I would go out and kill them. That's why I'd be scared. I'd be like, Leaky, don't let nobody touch you, okay? If anybody touch you, say no, 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 because my mom come and kill somebody. And then, if it's my own sons, I still don't think no different. I would want to kill them. I would want to harm them that way. It's scary because I'm thinking, oh my God, like, yes, I'll probably put some poison in their motherfucking food. I want to kill them a little different. But I would think that they shouldn't be here no more. You harm your own fucking family members? Then we know you're gonna harm others. Like, can you imagine? You got to be able, listen, if you can harm your own people, that means you'll harm others. I don't want you harming your own people, and I don't want you harming others neither. But here we go. So this the grandmother, and we're gonna hear her speak a little bit because she's in a real peculiar place, right? She love her son, and she love her granddaughter, and she love her you know what I mean? So let's hear what she says.
not experience those triggers, post-traumatic stress symptoms, and if it's highly effective, it's the #1 most researched method in counseling.
Wait, I think that might be the counselor, y'all. Wait, let me see.
The mother's not acting in the child's best interest. And how long have you and Zach been together?
About on and off 5 years. I mean, I've known him for 5 years. So.
And have you seen Zach exhibit any sort of behavior that would give you any concerns about Zach being around your child.
So this is the girlfriend to the accuser, and she has children. She's been with him for 5 years, and I think the judge gonna ask her a couple of questions. Let's see if we can see when that happens, because like, why would you? These are the dangerous women. Like, you can never know what somebody did or didn't do. Like, you know what I mean? You could think you know somebody. And so why would you take the chance with your children? And then what happens if from a few years from now, her own sons start to decide to come clean and say, yes, mom, he was touching me too. It's her responsibility to make sure this shit doesn't happen. And once somebody get accused of something, it's your responsibility to make sure that you don't know if they did it or not because you wasn't there, and therefore you got to protect your own children. I don't know what's going on with these fucking women.
And if the judge does grant Zach's application for deferred, are you willing to participate in a chaperone program?
Yes.
And you and I talked about that, right? The requirement for Zach to be around your child if the court granted that. And are you asking the judge to give Zach a chance at deferred adjudication?
Yes.
Judge, I pass the witness.
Right, state. Just a couple questions. You said you and Zach have been together about 5 years? Yeah, on and on. So you guys got together when your son was about 5 years old? Yes. Do you guys plan to have kids? No. No other questions?
I have nothing further, Judge.
All right, thank you for coming. Our defense, your next witness.
Shirley Jo Blair.
Shirley Jo Blair. Can you raise your hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can lower your hand if you state your name for the record and please spell it.
Shirley Jo Blair, SHIRLEYJO.
You and I talked about this, and you felt more comfortable if you wanted to read a letter that you prepared for the judge.
Yes.
Okay.
Any objections to her reading the letter?
No objection. I mean, she's still subject to cross-examination.
Yes, you may read your letter.
In my experience, I'm a career paralegal, have been for 26 years. I'm a senior litigation case manager and a case manager team lead, responsible for 12 case managers litigation assistants brought against him. You see someone who has been painted as a monster and a menace to society. On the day of ultimate judgment, he'll stand before God, and God knows all of him. So it's unfair for someone who should be taxed with judging him with such a life-altering sentence should not know a little bit more about him. And that's what I've written this, so that you have more than what's in your court papers. Zachary was born premature. But by far, after Zachary came, he was the most outgoing, kind-hearted, considerate child, always has been. Always thought of others before himself. All of my boys are all of those things, but it's not about them. Zachary has always had such a deep-rooted sense of need to take care of everyone around him, make them laugh, feel welcome, and feel loved. The sheer number of times during Zachary's life that someone has told me that I raised such a polite, well-mannered, helpful, and considerate child has always given me such a sense of pride. It's also something that's always seemed to get me. His father abandoned us and left me with 3 young boys to figure out how to take care of alone. I was a sole provider most of their lives. Choices that made life harder on my children. Choices that led my children to go through things I was unaware of until their adulthoods. I knew my children had not had the easiest of for sake and for Zachary's. I'm someone who can sit here before you today and tell you that I do not believe that my son is a threat to any child, that an allegation like this will never be made against him again. I'm sitting here today asking you to take into consideration the fact that the man you are judging today could benefit and has already benefited from counseling. Asking you to take into consideration the time, money.
It's hard. Like she love her son, and she love her granddaughter. She mentioned that, but I skipped through it. Let's get to him. Let's get to the motherfucker, right? Let's get to him. Cause everybody think everybody is innocent. until you in that courtroom. Okay? Until you got to be in that courtroom and hear what them people say. Sometimes it's not as simple as, see, George Boyd, she don't just let you plead guilty. She starts asking you, what were you thinking? Why did you do it? And then these men start speaking. Okay? And I've seen where people wanted to plead guilty. They was pleading guilty, and when she asked them questions, they were like, "Well, I didn't do it." And then she said, "Okay, you didn't do it, so I'm not taking your plea, and you gonna set up a jury trial." Okay, if you act like you don't know the particulars, or you saying, "Well, like you can't because you didn't do it," and she says, "Oh, we're gonna do a jury trial." So let's hear what this man has to say.
Is about Allison Borlas, who was a 4-year-old child at the time, and what Zachary did to her, how he betrayed her, how he violated her, how he destroyed this family because of his actions and no one else's. This was a 4-year-old who couldn't even swim, who the only reason he was alone with her was because she had a broken floaty. She couldn't even properly wipe her own bottom. And as the court is aware, she says Zachary spit on his genitals and rubbed them against hers. How does a 4-year-old even know about something like that? Now, we've heard from testimony, Zachary still has access to children. That terrifies me. That should terrify this court. Some actions are just so heinous that it doesn't matter that it's a one-time thing. It doesn't matter that it's one child. He needs to be held accountable.
That's right. Look, he got access to other children. Another woman is in this court, and she has children. Lord have mercy. Desperate. You got to be motherfucker desperate. And that woman said they was off and on for 5 years. Off and on. Here we go.
He's still not taking responsibility. He's still saying this didn't happen, that he's being framed. He's not showing remorse. He's not apologizing, just blaming. We're asking you, based on the facts of this case, based on what Alice and her family have been through, based on what he's done to this entire family, that you send him to prison for the full 12 years and that you hit the cap.
All right, defense.
Judge, it's a court where people take no contest pleas every day. People accept plea bargains every day. Even in a situation, and the court remembers when you were a defense lawyer, in situations where defendants maintain their innocence, but accept a plea bargain knowing the ramifications of a trial, particularly on a case like this, with what was here as well. An amazing support system.
I want you to let you know that I've listened to.
I want to see if she's going to ask him some questions. Let me see. If I don't think he remained silent. Okay, no. I see he's talking here. Let me see if they asked him any questions.
He destroyed this family because of his actions and no one else's. This was a 4-year-old who couldn't even swim. Hit the cap.
All right, defense.
Judge, it's a court where people and telling people to go to trial. Zach stands by his plea about the nature of the allegations. Does not feel that's appropriate. I would ask the court to take into consideration all the factors, the 4 years of house arrest and everything else. And I would ask the court to assess at the low end of the range of punishment.
Right. All right, Mr. Warren, I want you to let you know that I've listened to the witness from the state and also your witnesses. And I always internalize what I hear. And I always read the PSI report with a fine-tooth comb. And I've read what you entered without objection from the defense, the impact statement. After reviewing everything, the court will find you guilty. The court is going to order Chapter 62 compliance. There's to be no contact with the complainant, no contact with minors. There's a $1,500 fine, time and money to run concurrent, and the court will sentence you to 12 years in the prison. Showing you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let's go find some more. Let's see. Predator's priceless reaction after hearing. Let's see what he had to do.
If you're anywhere here in the red highlighted area and you have an old crack stained garage floor like this one right here,
Court will sentence you to 25 years in the prison. Give you credit for any 2023 CR 0037, State of Texas versus Mark Anthony Pena. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Travis Banks for the state of Texas.
Danny Callahan for defense.
All right, Mr. Pena, you entered a plea of guilty to count 2. According to the plea bargain agreement, punishment is to be assessed at a cap of 30 years in the prison. There's a $1,500 fine, and the state is opposing your application. Have both parties had a chance to review the PSI report, state?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Any witnesses, state?
State has no witnesses, Your Honor.
Defense, any witnesses?
No, Your Honor. Only allocution and letters and corroborative evidence of his physical health.
All right. State, do you have any evidence to present in the way of documents or no?
Nothing other than.
Please whisper. I'm
It
sorry.
was that way before the defendant met her. Physical problems, the mental problems that she has, cutting herself, that existed long before the defendant was involved in her life. I suggest to the court respectfully that you give deferred adjudication 180 days in jail, particularly because of the lack of prior record and also stage 4. He's not going to live very much longer. And if he goes to prison, he won't get the treatment that he needs. That's all, Your Honor.
Your Honor, I'll be brief. And as you've already read the PSI, I just want to point out that some of the language that he's using in his PSI amounts to him minimizing his guilt. He says that the allegations against him are exaggerated, that he just wants to move on with his life, and that he doesn't want it to seem like he doesn't care, which would imply that he doesn't care. He just doesn't want the court to realize that. But I would remind the court in his minimization of guilt that this is a case where found on the complaining witness's phone, and that it was.
So it says, photos of the defendant was found on his phone. So this is a predator, y'all, of a kid with some pictures. Let's see if, I don't know if it's a boy or girl. This is my first time hearing it. Here we go.
Eventually learned that the defendant got the complainant to give him in it, starting on her birthday.
Okay, it says right here, he asked her to do oral sex, then vaginal sex. She was 12 years old at the time. Isn't that what these men be saying? And what? She knows what she's doing, right? Because she's smart enough to know. Okay? She's smart enough to know. She's old enough to know, but so what is his age? He not old enough to know? And by the way, if he has pictures of her nude on his phone, that's child pornography. Okay.
Birthday in 2020, when and the state is asking the court to consider that and sentencing the defendant and to meet the cap at 30 years. TBC.
All right. And is there anything you wish to say, Mr. Pena?
Your Honor,
if there's something you want to say, you're going to be subject to cross-examination.
I'm very nervous. I don't know what to say. I love my family.
Okay, so this sounds more like and I'm not sure, this might be, you know how these men be talking to kids and shit on the internet and stuff like that? That's what this sounds more like, okay? That's why they call him a predator instead of a molester or a rapist and stuff like that. They're using the word predator. So he's one of these men who online talking to these young girls right now, and he got caught and they about to hit him. Yes, he about to get. Look, it don't matter if a young girl who don't know nothing about much or nothing having conversation with a grown ass man who shouldn't be having conversation with her. These men don't understand that the ones committing a crime is not the young girl but him. And I bet there's a lot of them in this space talking to your little girls. And to talk to little girls, you got to go find where the little girls are. Do y'all agree with that? Because we don't know y'all ages, but I can almost assure that most of y'all are not little girls, right? We don't have no children really in our area like that. Okay? And the ones that we found to be here, you notice I never got cool with them. I never got cool with them. I never tried to grab them up like as if I would be there to protect them. In fact, if I ever said something to them when I found out their age, it was like, hey, like you don't have nowhere else to go. But you found that these men was in over there with these little girls was over there with Angry Man. You found out that she was, she was like really young. Then as she gotten a little older, she starts admitting that she was over there really young. But then she said that they knew she was really young. So they welcome that shit. I don't want nobody young over here, and I'm not gonna make them feel welcome. Can't stop them if they're in the clouds, right? But if somebody came out them clouds and say, hey, I'm only 17, which that has happened once or twice in these years that I've been here, and I assured you that I blocked them. But before blocking them, I had a conversation and say, hey, maybe you need to go find somewhere else. But not these men, though. Not these men.
As my attorney mentioned, these issues when I met April, and
look, he called her by her name when he met April. Look what it says. When I met, she was 9 years old at the time. Remember when these men said they want virgins so they can get her to do what he wants? That's called grooming, guys. Y'all be on panels admitting that you want to groom someone. When you say you want her young enough so she won't have any, bad traits, so you can tell her what you like and how you like it, what you like, don't like. That's called grooming, especially when it relates to anything sexual. Okay. So here he is, started talking to her at 9 years old. 9 years old. Damn.
I don't want to speak bad of the character. I'm not trying to minimize anything, or I do care. I cared about them very much. I was in their lives since.
But I mean, here's the problem.
Look, he messed up. That's the reason why he mentioned she was so young. He's like, yeah, I care for her. I started talking to her since she was 9. So if he cared for her since she was 9, he knows she's 9. And if he cared for her, he would have been more like an uncle, right? An uncle, an uncle, a friend who can, maybe she need a parent, a father-like figure. But why would it then turn into anything sexual, though? If you like a father-like figure, then why you start talking about send me naked pictures? Because she may have thought of him like a father. She may have needed that father figure, and then her father figure start asking her for pictures. At first, probably to let her know how pretty she is, where she may feel good feeling pretty. Maybe she don't think she's pretty. Maybe the little boys at school not telling her she's pretty. And now this grown man telling her she's pretty. Lord have mercy.
The problem is, and you are engaging. Do you understand?
I understand, Your Honor. I understand what was said. I understand.
You want to raise your right hand for me, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
Mark, Antonio Pena.
All right. Counsel, do you wish for your client to testify, or you want to talk to him about testifying before
Well, Your
Please
Honor,
object-
would ask the court to consider his allocution.
Okay. All right. So, Mr. Pena, as I said before, if you wish to give testimony and tell me what I should do or what you think would be appropriate in this case, then you're going to subject yourself to cross-examination. So that means that the state will be allowed to ask questions of you. So do you wish to continue to speak to the court?
Dude, guess how much it cost me to make sure my family gets $1 million if something ever happens to me? You'll never guess.
I mean, it's up to you.
I do, but I don't want to. I'm not a very good public speaker or speaker.
No, nobody's a public. Let me just tell you, I don't hold it against people that they're not good public speakers. Yes. I'm just here to listen
just often say
and then make a decision on what's before me. So the fact that you're not a good public speaker is not something that I will hold against you.
Yes, I just mean I often say things the wrong way. I don't mean them.
So do you wish to speak or no? Mr. Callan, he's looking towards you for advice.
What y'all think he gonna do? We think he gonna speak. He not gonna speak because his lawyer probably saying, "Look, if you say the wrong thing," but he probably already know he facing a lot of time already. But he hoping that he won't get, but you know, he get to get on probation and shit. That's what it sounds like. Look like the other side say this is egregious. We want a lot of time. The other one is saying, nah, he should just, this is first offense. We just hoping that he only get like 2 years probation or some shit like that. They are way off. But one of them think this is not that serious, and the other is like, yeah, no, this is bad. He's already admitted to be talking to the little girl at 9 years fucking age. That's crazy. Here we go. Let me see what y'all vote is. Let me come to the chat. See what y'all saying. Y'all think Angelica said he gonna run his trap. Yeah, the one who I was talking about, what her name? She's still here. Damn, what is her name? She does the she's older now. She's probably about 1920 now at this point. Her dad is here also. Her dad is now online. Her dad was supposed to fight, but he backed out. But my dad seemed to be a nice guy, right? I've talked to him over there by what his name when I used to go over there. Okay. Her dad seems to be nice. I always wanted to ask him, why was your daughter here online at that young age? But anyway, here we go. Let's see. Angelica said he gonna run his goddamn mouth. And let's see what he gonna do. He's still talking to him. Okay, gonna make a decision.
The court has reviewed the PSI. All right, as previously stated, the court has reviewed the PSI. All right.
Okay. We have nothing further, Your Honor.
All right. All right, as previously stated, the court has reviewed the PSI rights to appeal. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? Then you will be subjected to cross-examination. Do you wish to say something to me about? There's going to be a $1,500 fine, time and money. We'll run concurrent. Right. The court will find you guilty. Contact with the complainant. I considered the health issues that counsel has spoken to me about. There's going to be a $1,500 fine, time and money. We'll run concurrent. Court will sentence you to 25 years in the prison. Give you credit for any time served. I'm going to show you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review?
He would have did better opening his motherfucking mouth, baby. At least she probably would have took some shit off if he could have came off sympathetic. But he already kind of showed that he wasn't sympathetic. And that's what the state was saying, right? Remember they were saying they in his letter, he said he don't want to sound like this, that, and third. Um, and that's what they were saying. They were like, he don't seem sympathetic at all. And so they wanted the book thrown at him. And wow, let me see. There might be another one after this, y'all. Let's see. Wow, 25 years. Yeah, I'm glad that I'm playing this for you men who think this shit is a joke. You want to be online playing with little girls? You think it's fun, imaginary? That shit is long time gone away, right? In the beginning of the internet days, you could have got away with this shit, and people was getting away with this shit because anybody could have been anybody, right? And that's what they were saying. Hey, when we get on the internet, it's all about just playing. You could role play and things like that, which that is true. That was how it was back then. But today, that's not no longer that way. People have their real pictures up. People have their real names up. People, the internet is like real life now. You pay your bills via the internet, right? You go to your bank accounts and all kind of shit on the internet, and you don't get to just claim you didn't know. You didn't know her age when you done went and she done told you, because in the messages, that's how they getting y'all. Where she says, uh, well, I lied and told you I was 18, but I'm really, and then she tells you what her real age. And then you continue to talk to her. And that's your ass, baby. Instead of your ass hanging up or blocking, you continue on and you might get 25. Okay. Now let's get to the next one. The next one is coming up. Let's see what it's about before.
Yes, sir. All right. Thank you. Thank you, counsel.
Your Honor, we have Victor.
Donald Wilson for Mr. Garza.
And are you Mr. Garza? All right. Did you review the document entitled Motion to Revoke Community Supervision with your attorney? Did you understand it? Are you the same Frank Garza who was placed on community supervision in 2025 CR 005952 for the offense of unlawful carrying of a weapon with a felony conviction on August 26, 2025 for a term of 2 years? Is that you? All right, state.
I apologize. I believe I need a minute. When I was looking at the court file, I believe that the judgment was violation of condition number 4.
Placing.
Hi, I'm Andy Levian, General Counsel at the DNC. We just sued President Trump and Doge, and I hope you.
Him in an incarcerated situation would be a benefit to him and to society. So we would ask the court to amend for DDRF and get him.
I understand his issues, but why isn't he reporting?
Okay, we don't know what his about, and we don't give a damn neither. There is another one that I saw that was bad, but because oh my goodness, like what do y'all think is going on with these men, and why do they want us to believe them like we care? We believe that it's all innocent, but we know that it's not, right? And why can't my brain wrap around? I understand why my brain can't wrap around this shit. This shit is so traumatic, right? It's so fucked up that I can't even imagine that I could be sitting amongst motherfuckers that would do the things that these men are openly saying that they either have done or want to do without consequences. Can y'all, maybe somebody could come and explain to me why? Because I've heard these men say some disgusting shit. And for some reason, it just, like, it's almost like they didn't say it. Like, it's almost like I don't remember that they said it. You know, Beanz being one of them, right? I was talking to somebody like a week ago, and it was like, yeah, he said this, he said that. And I was like, I didn't even know a lot of those things. But I did hear a story where he said that his baby mama was young when they got together. But I never knew her age or nothing like that. And to be honest, once I found out, because after I heard that, I was like, I thought that, and maybe it's my own, you know, wanting to be blind to it. But I figured when he said they were younger, and he said she was younger than him. Now, to me, when I hear somebody say some shit like that, I'm gonna be honest, I go straight to teenagers. I be thinking, oh, she 14, he's 16. And that maybe because in my mind, that's the safe. That's where my mind can safely be when these niggas or anybody start talking about how they met somebody and they were younger, you know? But then somebody said, no, Bomb, I think he was like 20 something and she was like 16. And that's a whole nother ball game, right? But then if he says they've been together all these years, right? And so we got to understand we do have some young ladies who got with these men, and these men had to, and they stuck around to take care of them as best they could, I guess. I don't even know. I don't even know. I don't know Bean's whole situation, but what I do know is that that motherfucker loved to talk about young girls, okay, in a negative way, while saying that he want to be with them, or not him, but men should be with him. Bean's got to be close to 40 if he's not already in his 40s. Why is he still reaching back all the way to 16-year-old? He got to, like, they don't, it's almost like they don't know that they're older. And the thing that kills me is they like to mention me being older. I am older. I've known that I was older as I was getting older. I had no problem with being older. While I sat amongst motherfuckers who's also older, right? It's like it depends, I guess, on who they talking to. But if we don't even talk about that, let's just say average. On average, a 40-year-old is not young to no goddamn 16-year-olds who they like to talk about all the time. You 2 times older than her. You're old enough to be her goddamn daddy. And still, with plus some, right? If you're 40, you could have you could have had a 20-year-old that you had when you was 20. When you was 20, you could have had a baby. And by the now, if you're 40, your child is 20 years old. And yet you will still reach back to someone who could be younger than your child. You reaching back to 16-year-olds. These motherfuckers that failed in life according to them themselves, right? It's almost like they're not where they thought they think they should be. And they didn't get what they thought they deserved when they was younger. And so they still want to reach that. They want those cheerleaders that they couldn't get way back when. So they want them now. They want the high school cheerleader now, even though they old enough to be her daddy. Oh, but don't let us mention the cheerleaders that were cheerleaders when they was kids, because then they start talking about, yeah, she don't look nothing the same. But they're not looking at themselves. Like, she got older, just like your ass got older. She's not a child anymore. Just like you're not a child, except you still want to be a child, or you still want to be with children. They want the hot cheerleaders that's 16, they still want the hot cheerleaders, the high school cheerleaders. But these niggas is old enough to be her dad. They are mentally ill. I think this is a mental illness. I think a lot of people in the area that we in, especially a lot of these men who get on these panels, a lot of these men are mentally ill. Not all of them, but a lot of them. They're mentally ill. I can name 2 of them. And then they got the easy ones for us to name, right? I crack jokes on the torch, right? But there's a lot of them that's just like them. They might be just a step above. They was able to, live alone. A nigga who on Section 8 as a single man, we already know. There's some things that he got going on that had some paperwork that was able to get him that Section 8 like that. Okay? Man, I don't even know what to say. I'm thinking about, and I have been for a few years. I think I've been saying this for a few years. I keep thinking, hey, I'm thinking about leaving the area, leaving the space, right? Because I do have other hobbies and things, you know. Um, and I'm start realizing that I'm having a conversation with a lot of toys, a lot of toys. Okay. So I stopped getting on some of the people's panels. They got some, every once in a while, if Sharon have a conversation that I might want to listen to. I really don't even go to see what he's talking about much anymore, but I don't have nothing against Sharon, right? He did what he did. I didn't like it. And so I kind of took a step back. And that's okay, right? That's my decision. He's not the first that I've done that to. And he won't be the last, right? There's a many people in this space panels I don't go on. Some I've never gone on. They come by me, that don't mean I go by them. Right? But I don't want no problem. But I heard Rude say, he said something about me ruin my what he said, I ruined my reputation in this space. What is he talking about? My reputation has always been the same. That Bomb can get up there and she will disagree. And there's nobody panel where I can't get on. What is he talking about? Nobody said, hey, you can't get on the panel. In fact, there's people who always invite me in their area. I just don't go in their area. If they having a conversation and they think that I'll, be a good person to have the conversation on whatever side they know I'm gonna be on, because you know what side I possibly gonna be on, they invite me over. So I don't know what Rudip was saying, but Rudip, you can explain to us how you bragged about fucking your cousin and enjoying it. Like, dude, you are fucking disgusting with a lot of your conversations. And then you want people, you know what I mean? Like, I don't have to lie on you, right? If I say, okay, well, I think he's smart in some areas, he could possibly do better, right? Because you got the capacity. But when I say capacity, like, yeah, there's a lot of things that I know that due to conversation we had when we have real conversations about like education or some shit like that. But it seemed like you wasn't able to make that work for you in life, though. So you rather be on this bitch talking about sex with kids. That's sex with kids having sex. Yeah, that's a you choice. That's the choice you make. That ain't got nothing to, because I can assure you, you have been trying to have those conversations for years, even over here on my panel. And I'm quite sure everybody has heard me say, nah, we don't want to talk about that. Nah, I don't want to talk about that. We give you pushback, and then eventually it gets switched off of that. But you are the promoter of children having sex. Okay. Now I'm really am just trying to keep it cool. There's no reason to crack no jokes about it. There's no reason to even lie. Cause as soon as I crack one joke, then he'll make it seem like, oh, she joking. Nah, I'm serious. Okay. I don't have conversations about no children having no motherfucking sex. I think it's disgusting and vile. And I'm not promoting no shit like that. I'm Some of you'll be okay with children sitting in your face while you talk about this to them. Will make you will be grooming them or pedo. Now, anyway, we could have a real conversation, but if I do, I'm gonna have to change the topic because I don't want to mix the two. Okay. This is a fucking vile fucking conversation when we talking about adults talking about being with children. And I don't give a fuck if the child is 18, 17, 16, and we could go as low as you want. If an 18-year-old want to talk about who they having sex with, then let them do it. But there is no way those of us who are 30 plus years old should be discussing what the fuck teenagers are doing. The fuck? If you 30, you can have a 16-year-old. If you 30, you can have a 14-year-old. Right? If you were 16, when you're 30, you would have a 16-year-old. If you had the child 18, then you still have a teenager, a younger teenager. Why in the fuck would you be 30 talking about having sex with teenagers? You if you had a child when you was 20, by the time you 30, you have a 10-year-old. You see how those numbers work? Like that's what the reason for having the information, the knowledge, knowing how to count, motherfucker. If you are 30, you can have a child that's already in their teens. And I say that because a lot, especially those of us who are 30, in the mid 30s and up, there was a such thing as a lot of teenage pregnancies, right? So let's go from even 40. Let's go from 40 all the way up to my age and a little older. There was a lot of teenage pregnancy, and therefore a lot of 30-year-olds did have babies. And their 30-year-olds, their children was already in teenagers. It's not happening as much these days as it used to happen, but it still is happening. And you know why it's still happening? Well, we find a lot of these motherfucking grown ass men were the ones getting these teenagers pregnant. Now that I did not know. And I kind of explained how I didn't know it because when you're a teenager, you may not know that that's a grown fucking man. Ladies, y'all know what I'm talking about. When you was a teenager, and whether this grown ass man hit on you or one of your friends, he was grown, and you may not even have known that he was already in his 30s or later. You just probably knew he was a little older. You knew he was older, and if he liked you, you probably was like, oh, he liked me. He came around and he'll do something for the kids he won't even do for a grown ass woman. He'll take her to get her nails done. See, cause he ain't got a house her and shit, right? She a kid, so he could take her to get some ice cream, some McDonald's. He ain't really got to take her to no nicer restaurant. Cause then he'll tell on himself. Cause he know kids okay with lollipops, ice cream. You take them to Dorney Park. Yeah. These motherfucking men are disgusting. And I feel sorry for all the women who are in the dating pool, no matter what age dating pool you're in. Because it seems to be not only do you have to worry about the men not mistreating you, but you also got to worry about getting with somebody and the motherfucker might be a pedo on the low. Which is why a lot of women say when they have children, or daughters in particular, but we got to watch both, y'all. It can't be no where I got a son, so I ain't got to worry. We finding out from these young boys, not all of them are talking, but some of them are talking. Some of them are talking. And finding out that these men are messing with the sons. And you thinking that it's gonna be cool, because you thinking, oh, he's taking and fishing. You know that happened in my family. Now the weirdest thing is, that's why I don't fuck with my niece. I don't fuck with my niece. I don't fuck with her. She let the same man who went to jail for molesting her, she let him molest one of her sons. And all he had to do was get out of jail and agree to babysit for her. And since she want to run the streets so motherfucking much, she let him babysit. Until one of my nephews says, Uncle so-and-so put his dick in my mouth. That's what came out of his mouth. And by the way, it came out of his mouth. He was young when he said this. He was young, sitting in the car with my mom and my sister. And they were just driving. And his mother was in there too, in the back seat. And they was driving, and all of a sudden he just said it. He just said it. And my sister heard him. And my sister turned down the music and said, did you hear what he said? And she says, they asked him to say it again. He was a kid, so he said it again. So my mom them is the reason he went to jail the first time, when he was messing with my niece. You see? But he's on my niece's other side of the family. He's the person who did this isn't on my side of the family. He's on her mother's side of the family. It's her mother's uncle. Wait, it's her mother. No, it's her mother's brother. Her mother's brother. Making it her uncle. So yeah, of course, you know what I'm saying? It don't matter who family, what side of the family would have been. You find out somebody did that to some kid, then guess what? You ain't got to do nothing but call the motherfucking police. Let them handle everything. And you tell them if you're not guilty, if they find no evidence or nothing, then I guess you'll be okay. But the police is getting called. And these motherfuckers is rampant on the internet, yo. Okay, they rampant on this motherfucking internet, and they're fucking disgusting. And I think maybe the reason I kind of forget some of the shit these niggas say is because I be thinking, I know, like I said, that I might be kind of like a murderer. I think I got some murdering tendencies in me. I ain't gonna lie. But I never know. You know, in my mind, I'm a murderer. Okay, depending on what the fuck happens, who do what to whom, and shit like that. I think I got it in me to take motherfuckers out, and I'll be in jail living as best the life I could be in my motherfucking mind, thinking that yes, I did exactly what the fuck I should have done. There will be no remorse. Okay? I'll do my 10 or my 20, whatever I got to do, but I ain't going to be apologizing. And so maybe because I can't handle that, I kind of brush over that shit. I don't know what the answer is. I need to do better though. And so therefore I will. And so that means I got to start erasing some of these niggas, or they're going to have to explain themselves a little better, and they need to know that this shit is not a joke. Because that's some of the things I brushed off too. I'm like, well, but then, I'm gonna say this. I've never said this before. I be trying my best. Because like I said, I've been overlooking a lot of shit. Some of these motherfuckers got children. They got daughters. You know how fucked up I would feel if when their daughters get older, they come out and said, my dad was doing this, and this. And we all just watch. So I think I might have to have a conversation with one of them and let him know like what I hear him saying at times, you know? And I think sometimes I hear him say things like, well, they watching and they hear what I'm saying and they know that I'm joking. I'm thinking, oh, it's a lot. It's a lot, y'all. It's a lot. I can't be responsible for everybody, but I do think that sometimes, um, like someone mentioned, um, you know, um, you could be responsible for certain things and certain things that is just way too far. Maybe you need to take that a little more serious. At first I was thinking, hey, you let them talk so we all could get an understanding. And they was like, well, no, you let them talk. It's kind of like you might be promoting, right? And I was like, well, you know, if we don't talk about it, then people will keep it hidden. So I kind of agree with that too, but I understand what they're saying too. It's it's like they're saying, hey, but you're giving them a platform. And when you give them a platform, and if you're not going like and kind of cutting it off at the head, that's the part that I agree with. Like me just being up here asking questions, disagreeing, giving pushback, that's not enough. Maybe I need to like the pushback shouldn't be just a gentle ass motherfucker pushback. It need to be cut it off at the head, like bam. And that's I think I don't know. Like I said, I've been thinking about it. I'm still kind of thinking about it. And I'm not talking about no little bullshit about, what grown people do. I ain't talking about no red pill. Fuck them motherfucking red pill ass niggas. And yes, I like to shit on them. So yes, I will let them niggas come up and we can have discussion. But see that talking about having sex with children though, that's that shit I'm talking about. That's the part I'm talking about. Okay. We can have discussions about whether you believe in red pill or not. I think most men have some red pill tendencies, right? If we talk about what these men talk about, I think even women, there's some things that they say that we can agree with. In fact, I think a lot of things that the men say, a lot of us agree with a lot of that shit they say when it comes to us and what we want in a man. The ones you say, well, the man should be the head of household. A lot of women believe in that shit. They may not like the idea of a man coming up making it seem like he should control you or a man should control you. But I think most women will agree that you want a man to take care of you. Even if you got to help him, you still want you don't want a man who ain't got no motherfucking job, who ain't got most women don't want that. Okay. They got some who do though. They got some who, she'll be okay with it. I was on a panel the other day and a group of women was bragging about what crimes this dude she get with could have done. And I'm thinking not I know now we all older, right? We all older. I ain't gonna lie though. If I would let's say something happened, me and hubby get divorced or some shit like that, and I go back out and dating. I'm not Yeah, I'm not gonna be. There's not gonna be no list where I say he could have committed these long list of crimes. You know what I mean? Like But I guess because I'm older, I guess that might be a something that I may have to think about. I don't know. I don't know. I can't imagine it, because I'm not in that predicament. But I'm not saying. Well, I'm saying that when I was dating, and that was a long time ago. Uh, as you can see, I wasn't dating nobody who committed crimes, and most black men, for the most part, have not committed crimes. But we talk like they do, and therefore men will think that it's normal to have committed crimes. Okay. The men who are in the military can have committed a crime. So you already know the shitload of black people who are in the military, those are crimeless motherfuckers. Okay. So there are options out there to men who haven't committed crimes. And yet, just not the ones that's in the military. There are a lot of men who haven't committed crimes. But the women was talking about, well, it depends on this crime. Fuck all that. Okay? Shoot for the stars, bitches. What the fuck? And then if this man comes around, you like him, then you find out what the fuck he did. You do that right away, though. Okay? Like, after you get his name and shit, and y'all had a good conversation, if you thinking about going any step further, right? You may want to ask him what the fuck he did. Because you may not want to be the next murder victim. Like if he's a motherfucking murderer, suppose you go on that first date. Y'all don't even talk on the phone no more. Motherfuckers not chatting it up in the text messaging before all a nigga gotta do is ask you for a date and he gonna take you to dinner and you going. Cause goddamn, that's a breeding ground for a serial killer. Okay. Which, by the way, y'all must not be looking at what's going on in the world because, they've had many names. They've had YouTube serial killers. The first ones I remember was, what's the name of it? Where you buy things. It still exists. Still exists. I went there maybe like quite a few months ago. Um, where you list things to buy and shit. People people still use it, especially locally. Damn, let me look it up. What is it called? I can't look it up if I can't remember. Y'all know what I'm talking about, right? Wait, it's almost like like let me look at the chat. Y'all may know what I'm talking about. Let me see. But anyway, the fuck you mean? How about you hit her link and say that? What are y'all talking about? Angelica Baum is also the problem. Her son was 12 and Baum didn't do anything about it. What do you mean Baum didn't do anything about it, you lying little motherfucker? Why don't you hit the motherfucking panel and come and say that I didn't do anything about it? Every time you hear me mention that story, I said I did something about it. Every time I mention that story, y'all hear me say I did something about it. So, like, what? Unless you're talking about murder, if you're talking about murder, right? But I think you always hear about the police. I think you also hear where that bitch up and fucking moved. And in the middle of the night, I could swear you heard that. I know for a fact you heard that, right? This shit went down, and then in less than 3 days, they upped and fucking moved. I know you heard that. Then you heard when I said, as my son got older, right? Because see, my son is getting some vagina, so he's keeping secrets. He's keeping secrets. Then you hear when I found out where she lived at, right? Through my son. Then you hear where I go knock on doors around there, inform people, the police again, and then she up and moved again. Now, I think you know that, but I think you were sitting in that chat and you fucking lying, claiming I ain't do nothing. Okay. And then the very last time, and then I even explained why that situation in the very beginning was it was a little crazy. And but you may not know that because you would have to. But if you do, then you know. And if your name start with a Vicky, then you's a whole ass motherfucking bitch under a whole nother motherfucking name. You crackhead bass bitch. Why you ain't here under your real name? Huh? Just like when you was under a fake name over there by a fat lord ass bitch, right? Who finally lost some weight. Y'all never notice, huh? That person who asked that question over there that day was a account that was just made, right? It made to look like some. So you got to understand these crackheads and these fucking tart ass bitches, right? These motherfuckers come over here under fake ass names. They can't even be themselves. Ratchet ass hoe. Nah, you can leave them in there. You could leave them in there, but they lying. They lying what they thought I wasn't going. So you don't remember that story because you could go pull it up on any accounts that you could find where I spoke about that story, and you gonna always hear where I say when she came to the door and told us what happened and how that shit went, right? And I told you within 3 days, I don't even know if that was a weekend or weekday, but I promise you, within 3 fucking days, that bitch had to move. She didn't stay at next door to me for more than 5 days after that. In 3 days, they had done snuck out in the middle of the fucking night. So was I what I was supposed to do? She knew I was after to beat her ass. What you thought I was gonna just run in our house? I had to catch her outdoors. In the middle of the fucking night they left. And they left most of their shit there. Here I am sitting around peeking out when I got a chance out the door, seeing to catch her. Even some of the neighbors was waiting. Motherfucker, there was a couple of neighbors who knew everything that went down, and them motherfuckers was waiting to catch the beat down. And then, but the truth is, I wasn't even the only one wanting to beat her down. I just only spoke on it for my half of the story. But you don't know the whole story. You don't know the whole story. You only know from my part of the story, which I only have the right to speak on it from my half of the story. But I know I've hinted several times that it wasn't just my son. If you ever listen to me tell that story, I mentioned that there was other little boys also. Okay. But anyway, I can only yeah, they're not gonna hit the link. Yeah, you're right. If you wanna, you can block them. I don't care. I don't give a damn what y'all do in the chat like that. But see, that's what I'm saying. Like when I speak from my side of the story. I can't even speak for my son, but I think I've always said that he doesn't think anything happened to him. Just like you men, the rest of these men have been saying, right? Up until just recently, these men were saying they wasn't abused and they bragged about it. Then when they decide they want to attack women, they then start saying, well, women abusing boys. And I would agree with you though. Women like that woman, because she was a grown ass woman. She wasn't like she was 20. She wasn't 21. She wasn't 22. She was a grown ass motherfucking woman. But I only spoke on it from my family's perspective, mainly mine, because even in our household, there's difference of opinion on that situation. From, in particular, my actual son. my actual son. And guess what? You know, when the police was there and they looking at me, tell them, yeah, I want her to go to jail. And then they looking at my son who don't think he's been abused in any way. The men, right? You fucking men, the actual men. You think that police officer was a fucking man? You thought he thought that my son was abused? I'm the only one. I'm the one. Like, she shouldn't have touched him. He's a kid. They looking at him like, oh, fuck out of here. So yeah, you know, Angelica, I don't care what y'all do in the goddamn chat, girl. Y'all do what y'all want. What you mean she got away? You don't know what the fuck she got. This bitch said the point is she got away. Got away to go where? You don't think the point is that she had to go in the middle of the night? Not just one time, not just 2 times, but 3 times. You don't think so all a person got to do is just run you away and you happy because you because you got away, huh? Okay. You see how stupid they are, man? That don't make no sense, girl. But if you ever listen to the story though, just listen to it. Because I know for a fact I have mentioned, without going into details about other people, is that it wasn't just my son. In fact, I think I said when she came to the door, I told you that her daughter, who was only like in 2nd grade, 3rd grade, maybe 3rd grade, said, my mommy don't want to go to jail. And then, you know, she came and mentioned when she told me, she said that all the boys started asking her. Because remember, these are kids. And kids are kids, right? Kids keep the secrets amongst themselves. They don't they're not coming and telling the adults, but they with themselves, right? They grouped up. Every time my sons was out there, they was playing with other kids. There's more to that story than I've ever shared. Okay? There's more to that story than I've ever shared. I can't share it from other people's perspective because I shouldn't be talking about what they children went through or none of that. And and then there's other kids involved in that situation too. Not even to mention the boys, but I'm talking about girls. But anyway, yeah, that's all I'm willing to share. But yeah, I'm quite sure. What about the women bomb? Shit blows me. I know man, it's a lot. You know, it's a lot. Which is one of the reasons, like I said, and I think I said even in this stream earlier, what did I say? I said, yeah, I can only protect my kids up to a certain point. Because I was very protective of them. I'm talking about everywhere they went. I was right there. But you can only do so much. And I also said that I spoke to my kids and I said, hey, nobody should do this and do that. But at a certain age, when a young boy and or a young girl start with their own sexual journey, I guess. Because like when I started my own sexual journey, my mom was speaking to me too. But as an individual, I started my own sexual journey. And I didn't tell my mom, even though y'all, my mom door was always open. I could have went and opened the door and asked my mom anything. Anything. I could have went in and said, hey mom, I'm thinking about having sex. Can I get on birth control? I could have done that. She expressly told me I could do that. But just because I had that door wide open, don't mean I decided to walk through that motherfucker door. You understand? Don't mean I decided to do that. So your children then gonna make some decisions themselves. Okay. And The person I'm pissed off at is the adults who get involved with the children. The adults who get involved with the children. But then it happens to be that I had a son, not a daughter. If I had a daughter and it was a man, then I'm quite sure, without a doubt, if it was a man, he would have got charged. But I happen to have the son. And I've always complained about that. And by the way, most of us women, we want to protect our motherfucking sons and daughters. And most of us believe that no adult should be having sex with goddamn children. So the idea that you mentioned that she got away is what? Because if I thought it was normal and okay, then there wouldn't have been no story that I would have been telling. Right? I guess I would have been bragging that I had a son who I don't know had a sexual experience when he was younger with an older woman. Like that wouldn't have been nothing for me to brag on. That's weird. But you know the story because you know that I thought it was disturbing. So I don't understand your point because you know the story because I thought it was disgusting. You know the story because I've always said that I want to beat that bitch's ass. That's how you know the story. And it's weird that y'all, even I wasn't even thinking about that story. And you came in the chat to talk about that fucking story. Giving credence to what the fuck I'm talking about. Thank you very much. Listen, sometimes look, they so stupid. These bitches be so stupid, yo. That they think they coming to make one point and they end up making a point for me. Is my phone ringing? Oh, yeah, hold up. Hello? Hey. Hold on, y'all. Hey, how you doing? I'm good. How you doing? I'm all right. Oh, okay. Everything good though? They taking care of you? Okay. Hold on a second, okay? Let me end something. Hold up. Give me give less than a minute. Okay? Hold up. Hold up. Wait, I gotta do this. Wait, wait, what happened? Oh, okay, I gotta hit the phone. Okay, hold on. Okay, y'all, I gotta go. That's my brother. I'll talk to y'all later. I'll be back. But thank you for making a point for me because you wouldn't know the story if I didn't think it was disgusting for adults to be with children. But you know what craps me up is you motherfuckers who apparently you think it's okay. You know what I mean? You think it's okay.